Saltwater Tank. If you're wondering where you are, you're on the SaltwaterAquarium.com live stream #1 for TANKSGiving 2025. If you're looking for giveaways, discounts, sale announcements, wacky trivia, and some new stuff, including guests this time around, you're in the right place. If you don't care about aquariums, you're still in the right place because your life will be better if you have a saltwater tank. Don't worry about freshwater. Just stick to saltwater because it's better. Again, I'm Mark Cowan, Mr. Saltwater Tank, coming to you on behalf of SaltwaterAquarium.com. This is the first of 3 live streams we have coming on. We'll be live for the next 3 Friday nights. Next week, we're going to roll a little bit early because we're going to do a 6-hour continuous live stream starting at 6 p.m. Eastern time. But that's next week. Don't worry about that. Let's talk about the now. We're going to do giveaways tonight. Like I said, guest speakers. We've got our other guests here at SaltwaterAquarium.com, our other video personalities. Let's roll with Jimmy because Jimmy's up in the Big Apple. He's going to be on Saturday Night Live. He got picked up that quick. Jimmy, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about you?
What's there to tell? I know Mr. Saltwater Tank. That's why I'm here.
Why don't you tell everyone how we know each other?
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Jimmy. If you know me already, thank you for watching on YouTube. The reason I'm here is because of that guy, Mr. Saltwater Tank. A good friend of both of ours introduced us. Oh, how many years has it been, Mark? 8 or 10 years?
Yeah, maybe even 10 years ago.
Probably like 10 years ago. Mark needed a cameraman at Reefer in Orlando, which is where I live. And so his friend Steve couldn't be there. And he said, hey, my buddy Jimmy lives in Orlando. He's a cameraman. Give him a call. So that's how we got to meet. And I had a really good time. Apparently, I did a good enough job for him because he called me back for some more gigs. And we started hanging out, traveling the world together. Right, Mark?
Well, yeah. Let's see, Jimmy. Where have we been together? Great Barrier Reef, Dubai, Mauritius, Rodrigues. Yeah, we've been around the world a little bit. London, we did that as well.
Yeah.
California, New York. Yeah, we've been around.
We've been around. Yeah, it's been a good time. I know people that watch us think that sometimes Mark's being mean to me or something, but we have a good fun being sarcastic with each other. And this hobby, I always wanted to get into it, and I just never thought it was attainable. It seemed too hard, too expensive. And I even had a job at an aquarium. So I worked at the seas at Walt Disney World at Epcot. And so I learned to teach about sea turtles and sharks and stingrays in one of the largest aquariums in the United States. And it was fantastic. And we had small systems aquariums there that would have, your dory fish and, all those things since we were Nemo and friends. And even then, when I had those people around me on our aquarium team, it seemed still too hard. I was like, man, I can't do it. And I have a 75-gallon freshwater tank that I've had, maybe like 26 or 7 years, maybe even longer, probably longer than that. I've had it for a long time. And then I met Mark and I did this cameraman thing with him for a few years. And then I was like, hey, do you think you could help me do a saltwater tank? He's like, what? Of course. He's like, you can call me. I'll totally help you. Hey, let's do a YouTube series. I'll ask Ken about it. So we went ahead and did the newbie series 3 years ago. So I have a Pro Clear 200, I think the model is. It's a 160-gallon reef tank. That's not it there. That's Manhattan because I'm at work right now. But my wife's taking care of my tanks right now down in Florida. And I got my hydros looking at them. So I've got that tank. And then I started another series on YouTube. If you haven't seen it yet, please go watch it. It's another newbie series because I didn't know anything about a Fowler tank. I think Hillary's the first one that told me, oh, it's called a Fowler tank. And I'm like, Fowler? So I'm doing a fish only with live rock now that I know what that acronym means. But I didn't start with live rock. I started with dry rock that became alive. And it's not going to be fish only. I'm going to try some corals in there. So I think I need a new acronym for my tank because it's not going to be a Fowler tank forever. But I'm having a really good time in this hobby. I'm so grateful that I met folks at SaltwaterAquarium.com, and then all of you folks that I meet at all the trade shows. That's my favorite thing about the hobby. Not only looking at cool fish, but just how inviting and how collaborative the community is. Everyone wants everyone else to be successful, and there's lots of places to learn. And I'm super happy to be part of that with pros like Hillary and Mark, and feel like I'm starting to become a pro a little bit myself. So that's my whole story in a nutshell. I'm just grateful to be here, and thank you all for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jimmy, for the rundown. I hope you enjoy New York. Hopefully, you can find some decent food in the city. Jimmy mentioned that we have Hillary. She's part of the saltwateraquarium.com team, aka Waterlogged. She's with us from the West Coast, also known as the Left Coast, hanging out in her humble abode with her pig child. But she's going to talk about her aquarium. So, Hillary, thanks for being with us on a Friday evening.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be here. As you can see, I have a fish tank. I also have a mini pig, like Mark mentioned, but I have been keeping fish tanks, gosh, probably longer than I can remember. There's pictures of me that my parents have, like growing up, I had goldfish. I did start out in freshwater. I think it really took off when I was in college. It all actually started out with little teeny tiny freshwater pufferfish, a South American puffer that just kind of sparked my love for the hobby and made me realize how intelligent fish were. At the time, I was going to school, getting my marine biology degree. So I do have that. Most of that was focused on oyster restoration and conservation. I did a lot of stuff with living shorelines down in South Carolina, and a little bit in North Carolina. So that was a ton of fun. And turns out that when you study oysters and water quality, it really applies to our aquariums. So it was kind of an easy sidestep into the world of aquariums. I've worked at a bunch of local fish stores, and over the last several years, I've worked at several different public aquariums, helping to take care of the tanks. I've gotten to take care of all sorts of animals, sharks and stingrays. Jellyfish are very underrated, but really, really cool animals to work with. Like you guys, I also have my scuba certifications, and one that you probably don't have is the freediver mermaid certification. So if you don't have that, challenge maybe? I don't know.
Hey, it would be
So,
a merman certification. Thank you very much. Let's get this right. You have the mermaid certification. Jimmy
I
and I would be
do.
going for the merman certification,
Okay.
which, Jimmy, I think
Okay.
that's a personal challenge. We need to do this in 2026, but I'm only going to do it.
Dude, I'm way too buoyant.
Well, we got to get the boss of saltwateraquarium.com, who's on the stream as well. He's actually the technical director tonight. He's going to be on camera, but he's behind the scenes as well. Jimmy, let's see if we can get the boss. Since we can't get him to get scuba certified, let's go for the merman certification. And Hillary can be the judge of this to decide if we all pass the merman certification. There you go, Hillary. There's a New Year's resolution for you. Done and done.
I'm going to teach you how to blow bubble rings and bubble hearts.
Only if you can
do
show
that.
us how to do it first.
I can do that.
Okay, challenge accepted. But I'm sitting there going, what did I just get myself into? And Jimmy and the boss as well. You may not see me next year on the stream because he's like, whatever, this guy's out of here. He's going to pull me into stuff I don't want to be a part of. With that, what are we? Well, let me give you a quick rundown of what's going to happen first tonight. We got some giveaways that we're going to do. Sneak peek, some giveaways for only those of you that are on the stream. So if you're just tuning in, you're in the right place. If you're thinking about leaving, don't do that, because we got some special giveaways just for the people on the stream, announcing discounts, announcing sales, because here at saltwateraquarium.com, we don't just have Black Friday. We have sales all month long, and we give away an aquarium or aquarium gear every single day in the month of November. And this year, because that's how we roll, we backed it up and started early in October, and we're probably going to push it late and run into December a little bit as well. So with that, we also have some guest speakers on tonight. Here's a little preview of coming attractions. They're going to talk about cold water aquariums, which is something cool I've had my eye on. I'm going to let Hillary talk with them later on in the stream. Let's roll over to the boss man now, the man behind the man, Ken Brown from saltwateraquarium.com. He's going to talk a little bit about these special giveaways. we have for those of you that are right here on the stream with us right now.
All right, so I'm Ken Brown, the owner of SaltwaterAquarium.com. I created the company in 2011 in April, pretty much by accident. I really did not intend this to be a 15-year project, and it's really grown beyond my wildest imagination. So I thank everyone out there for supporting us and shopping with us. This is actually the reason I started it, and I still have it at my desk. This is the Ecotech Marine Vortec MP40 with the manufacturing date. I don't know if you can see, May 12, 2011. So the reason I started the company was I wanted this pump for my tank and I could not afford it. So long story short, I'll put a video out or some stuff on Small Business Saturday about it, but I wanted one of these and I couldn't afford it. So I bought a bunch of them, 3 of them to be exact, put one on my tank, put the other 2 on eBay, and they sold, you know, overnight. And after that, pretty much every day from there. I do kind of question sometimes, like today I'm going on 15 hours and yesterday I put an 18-hour day in. And I'm still having fun doing it. So as long as I'm having fun doing it, I'm going to continue to do it. So thank you for joining. Thank everyone for supporting small business and SaltwaterAquarium.com. I do have a few special things I want to try this year. These are special deals for people who are watching the stream only. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and put it on the screen. If you buy any Seache product on SaltwaterAquarium.com during the live stream, this free pump clean is going to show up inside your cart at $0. You can scan the QR code or you can just go to SaltwaterAquarium.com on a device. Buy any product by Seache right now and you're going to get a free pump clean. Boom, boom, boom. The first 50 customers will receive one for free. This is a new thing we're doing. It's called First 50. So these are the first 50 bonuses. Pump clean is the first one. I can see some people scanning. I don't know if you see the screen going wild here now. People are scanning. We have 3 first 50 deals today. Pump clean for anything from Seache. 2 Little Fishies green seaweed for any product in the food category. If you go to SaltwaterAquarium.com and buy anything on the food category, this will show up in your cart as free. And then the last one we're doing is Red Sea's Reef View Coral Viewing Glasses. I think these are the best glasses on the market. All 3 of those items, the coral glasses from Red Sea are for anything from our coral farm. That's, let me show you on the website real quick.
Do those glasses come in blue frames, Ken?
So if you go to live and you go to our coral farm, which is the first tab here, we have been growing out our coral farm in Chicago over the last 3 years now. This thing is loaded. So if you add any one of these items to your cart, you will get the coral glasses for free. But I wanted to show you the cart because guess what? All 3 of those items stack. So if you buy a Seache product, something from the food category, and something from our coral farm, you're going to get all 3 products for free in your cart. Thanks for shopping.
Nice. That's awesome.
There you go,
Can
Mark.
I qualify for
finished
that?
a little early, but you're up.
You don't have that standard disclaimer on there, Ken, that says SaltwaterAquarium.com employees are exempt from the giveaway.
You know, there's a reason why. Because you're not exempt. I'll take your money too. Go ahead.
Nice. The money goes out. The money comes back in. It's
So one thing I want to say is Mark has a beautiful fish tank behind him. And the #1 most repeated comment on our YouTube channel is, when is Mark going to show us his fish tank for real?
Well, you're in the right place.
Right
Today's
now.
the day.
That's what we're going to do.
The answer's right now.
Yeah. So, yes, we're going to do a walkthrough of the tank behind me. Just because everyone's asking, it's 987 gallons. It's a drop-off tank. So there's the upper section. I'll show you the whole thing in a bit. And then there's a deeper section. But how did it get here? Why did I do this? Let me jump over to computer. I'm going to show you some pictures to give you some background of this thing. Because in true Reef Junkie style, I was like, I want a bigger tank. That means I'm going to have to add on to the house. And it was like no discussion. Like, okay, cool. We're just going to add on to the house. That's what we do when we want a bigger aquarium when you're a Reef Junkie. So that's what I did. So I'm going to jump over to my computer. Let's go through how this whole thing started. and where we are. Then we'll do a quick live walkthrough. I'll show you the tank. I show you the filtration because yes, everyone's been asking, when am I going to do that? And thanks, Dan. I got to give a shout out to him for the idea of saying, hey, walk us through it. What would you do different? So that's what we're going to do. But with that, let's go look. Let's going to jump back in the past now, and I'll show you how we got here. So we lived in this house for 6 years, and we decided, hey, I want a bigger tank. Let's add on. So this is the back of the house. And to give you some timeline, this is February 2020. So when the whole COVID thing was just starting, we were adding onto our house, which everyone says that's a horrible idea. And it actually turned out really well because we got to do this before all the COVID pricing went nutso. So this is the back of the house. To give you some context here, this is basically Oklahoma. Shout out to Jay from Sichet who lives in Oklahoma, or any of you on the stream tonight who are who live in Oklahoma. So this little section here, this is what my wife wanted. This is the extension to the mudroom, which is here. And all of this big box is mine. This is the addition to the house. That will be the fish room. Now, I'm currently standing on the second level, right above here. So fish room below, we take this upstairs, and the fish tank actually straddles this wall. So I'm going to talk to you about that a little later in the stream. Just keep this in mind. At the moment, the fish tank
Hey, Mark.
is straddling.
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
I'm still seeing just one photo of the house. You're talking about things that I'm not seeing.
Yep. That's because we're not there
Yeah,
yet,
same
Jimmy.
here.
Calm down, grasshopper.
You're like, I'm here. Okay. I'm all right. Never mind.
Okay. We got to give people the context, Jimmy. I'm just letting them know where we're going to go with this. Okay. So since Jimmy's hustling me along, this is how Jimmy and I work. We're just very frank with one another. It's a lot of fun. Okay. So we added on to the back of the house. And before I go on, if you're wondering what these pipes are, this is electrical conduit for the generator, because I said we're adding on to the house. Why not add a generator at the same time? That's what that's about for those of you that are wondering. White pipes, floor drains, and a drain in hot and cold for the sink and the fish room, which we'll talk about later. So the fun story about this is when they laid this thing out, it was only supposed to be 8 feet wide. And then I looked at it and said, I need to go bigger, which is what every saltwater aquarist should say when they're thinking about buying a tank. You want to go bigger. I said, hey, let's make it another foot. So we dug it out another foot and I added a foot to the extension. So let's fast forward because Jimmy's impatient. I'm not going to fast forward that much, Jimmy. You got to hang on. So we added on to the house. And when you do that, hang on, let me show you the right photos to give you some more context. Ah, yes. We added on the house, first level, second level, and then we have to get this big tank into the house. So how do you do that? Well, you get a crane, because that's the most fun way to do it of all time. And by the way, if you ever go to move a saltwater tank or any tank, or really anything, crane days are easy days, because you say, I want that item right here, and I want you to put it over there. And if you mess up, well, it's on you because I'm not allowed to operate the crane. So at this point, you can see the back of the house was done. Fish room is down below where the bricks are. The added on bonus room is on the second story. So yes, this 1,000-gallon tank is going on the second story of my house, which means we had to put steel underneath it. But the crane showed up, and since it's a step-down tank, the tank is built on the stand, and it lives its whole life on the stand. You can't put the stand up there and then put the tank up there, because the tank is off balance. It would just never work. So you have to move the whole thing at once, including getting it off the truck, which you use the crane to do. So it comes off the truck. In addition, the handler pulls it off, the crane lifts it off, and then up, and away, you watch your fish tank go up in the sky around the trees and the light poles, and you just think, if anything goes wrong, there's nothing you can do. Just don't let it land on your head. Which, by the way, in the meantime, you invite out the neighborhood, and all the kids, and even a lot of the adults, thinks it's super cool as well. So the tank goes up, second story. It fits in the window, which you take out the window because you want to move in a tank. Again, this is reef junkie stuff. This is totally cool. This is what we do when you're a reef junkie. So the window comes out, the tank comes in, put it through the window, roll it in like the Egyptians did on steel pipes, and then we're going to move it in place. The tank's actually going to go right over to the right with the guy with his hand up on the tank. It's going to fit right over there, just to give you an idea of where it's going to go. So we roll it in. The crane's done at this point. Now you have to get the whole thing set in place, which we do with the combination of lift tables and duck lifts. Set the thing in place, and now you have a 1,000-gallon tank above your garage, ready to be built out and filled. So
Mark,
here's
let
what
me
it
stop
looks
you real quick. I have a question.
Yep, sure.
Like, you did this in my front office, and you're like, do this, do that, do A, do B, do C. How do you know all of this? Like, where, like, get a crane, extra long forks? Like, where does this all come from? How do you know all this?
It's not my first rodeo.
He's making it up, Ken. You don't know. He watched it on YouTube.
I looked it up on Instagram and TikTok before I did it. No, this is
this stuff, dude. Like, this is serious stuff. That crane is like, that's crazy.
I've been building tanks for, what's this, 2006, basically. What, 13, 15 years? I lost track. A long time. I've done plenty of tanks, started small, built up from there, and then you get a crane involved. And then when it comes time to do this, you're like, sure, no problem. I just need the crane, and you take it from there. It looks like a lot, but I've got to do it again in a couple weeks. It's just kind of second nature now. But it's a lot of fun. Good question. Okay. So let me show you what else. Of course, you have to put the drone up as well to get the crane photos. You guys have seen this. Let me show you the fish room, because I know that's what a lot of you are curious about. So this is right below, actually, where I'm standing right now. This is the addition to the house. This is the fish room when it's in its bare state. Of course, it becomes a storage room when you're adding on to your house. So I'm going to show you this live in a bit, but just kind of keep this in the back of your mind for where it was and then where it came from. So, of course, I raised and drained the floor. That way, if any water falls through there, it falls down onto the concrete floor and runs away to the drain, which is covered up with the blue painter's tape. That way, I don't have to stand in water. I don't have to squeegee water. Makes a big difference. I'm doing this on 2 client builds right now. It's absolutely fantastic. Good stuff. We're going to back in time just a second. We talked about putting it over the garage. You got to put up steel. Here we are putting up steel to support the tank, because no, I wasn't going to trust wood to do that. The tank is about 10,000 gallons, or sorry, 10,000 pounds-ish, all loaded up. So we put up steel. All right, so let's jump forward here. Let's see what else.
Someone's comment. Did you see that, Mark?
What? I can't see the comments.
Someone's comment just popped up. Did you read that, Ken? Me showing my husband we need an addition to the house.
LOL.
Megan.
Dude, this is great.
That's funny, Megan.
Like,
hey, Penelope, I know my wife's watching this too. This is what we're doing next. It's so cool, dude. Keep going. Sorry.
That's fine. No, I mean, look, if like any of your spouses or partners are like, you're kind of over the top with the saltwater aquarium thing, be like, look what this guy did. He's absolutely off his rocker. At least I'm not doing that. And then you quietly and go do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the tank in place to give you a sense of where it is. That's my son years ago. That's it before I build the whole thing out. Okay, with that, let me just take a pause for a minute, find some other photos for you. Do we have any questions, Ken or Jimmy, that you see that I need to answer before we jump into this thing?
People want to know what it cost. They said it probably cost you $5,000 just for that crane.
Actually, the crane was like a lot more affordable than I thought. I was like, you're going to do what? I was like, great. Can you be here tomorrow? Let's go. Okay. I actually thought it must be very competitive in the crane industry. I don't recommend you get in it. It would be slightly nerve-wracking. But now, that being said, I'm going to switch out the photos, Ken. Let's go back to the tank. I'll do a walkthrough of that. Just a quick, someone asked, how much does a crane cost? I was going to do one actually in Manhattan. I had to take a tank up. I was going to put it on the 13th story on the penthouse of a building. Had to lift up the tank, get all these permits, all this stuff. It was like almost 6 figures just for the crane and the permitting and the engineering process. But hey, it's New York, right? Like everything's more expensive there. It was not that expensive here in Tennessee. So with that, that's the background of the size of the tank, how I got it in here. I'm going to walk you through the fish room. If you all have questions, fire them away. I can't see the comments, so I'll let Ken or Jimmy say, hey, you need to answer this one. Put me on the spot. Feel free on that.
So how many pounds of live rock? Any idea?
Here, switch back to the photos. I'll answer that question because I have a picture of it. Da-da-da-da-da. I have, there, here we go. This many pounds of live rock. There you go.
There's
That's
60 pounds per box.
60-ish pounds per box. There's some real reef branch in there, some shelf mixed in there. At the time, the real reef arch product didn't even exist, which I wish it did, because I would have used that in the tank. Let me talk about aquascaping, Ken, because I've got some photos of that. And for those of you watching, I haven't covered this on the build show yet. So you're getting a sneak peek behind the scenes of this thing. So, like I said, I used a mixture of branch. We had shelf rock in there, the regular, what I just call football rock, but the arch product was not out yet. If I had to do this again, I would absolutely use the arch product. It's absolutely fantastic. But I just started building it. Like any live rock, you just start putting things together and you use it as a good excuse to buy your son some Legos because, hey, you got to push the sand around the tank and you need an articulated dump truck and a shovel to do that. So that's how I got the sand in there and then just built out the scape. So it was all done just piece by piece, kind of felt it out what I wanted to do. But since I had a drop off, then it was fun to build out the scape and have it fall off the drop off. I'm letting you see this now because now it's covered with coral. You can't see it as much. But how many total pounds? I don't know, 800-ish, something like that, 700-ish. But we definitely use the arch product if I was going to do it again. So with that,
we have a couple of questions. Who built the tank? Is it a custom tank?
it is a custom tank built by Planet Aquariums. Good question. Everything I do is custom. Yeah. All right, Ken, let's
Reinforce the
come back
floors, or you did it with steel to start, or how did that work?
Yeah, no, the steel was, we added the steel underneath the floors when we did the addition. The tank actually sits on the steel. It sits on the floor, but then there's steel I-beams right beneath the floor. So the existing part of the house actually doesn't really carry any of the load. So all the tank is on steel, which helps me sleep at night knowing I've got 10,000 pounds over my garage up in the air. It's not like it's on a first story slab. It's 15 feet up in the air. Why not? Again, if you're a reef junkie, this is normal stuff. This is what we do. Well, your friends think it's weird, but that's fine. They don't have to understand. It's like the Jeep thing. People don't understand. It's a reef junkie thing. People don't understand. That's fine. They can admire your tank. Okay, with that, the pictures you saw were 2020. This is 2025. I've lost track. So let's do a walk around. I'm going to take you for a little tour of the tank. Let's see what it looks like today. Take you to the other side where it's dark and pretty.
Hey, Mark.
Yep.
What year? What date did you actually put water in?
January 2021, because that's when I got COVID and was stuck at home.
Okay.
Oh, this is trippy. This is backwards. All right.
Is that one of those giant octopuses from Octo Nation?
It was. I bought that at one of the Reeferpaloozas. Okay,
Yeah,
so this is a Peninsula tank, which I highly recommend. If you've never had a Peninsula, get yourself one. It will change your life because it's 3 tanks, 1, 2, 3 in one. We have, everything is backwards, so you have to forgive my pointing. This side of the tank, we have my favorite view, which is the long edge. You get to look down the tank here. And then you get the other side of the tank. So you really get 3 tanks in one because the aquascape looks different on this side than it does here, than it does here. When you really want to step up the game, you do a drop off. So let's talk dimensions. 12 feet long. Upper section is 30 inches tall. lower section is 48 inches tall, and the whole tank is 4 feet wide. Here's some inside information for you. If you ever do a peninsula tank, don't do it less than 36. Really, 30 is the absolute minimum. 4 feet wide will absolutely change your life. It's fantastic. So,
Someone said you should have a 24/7 live feed of your tank.
you know, that's been mentioned, but then like I forget that it's on, and there's not a QR code for that yet, and I'm not willing to make one. So,
Yeah, I've traveled with this guy. We don't know. We don't want to see things
that you've seen.
around him 24/7.
Okay. So 987 gallons, 12 feet long, 4 feet wide, 4 feet here at the drop off, 30 inches here on the upper part. Always knew that I wanted a mixed reef. So I built it out that way. The aquascape, I know it's drawn in here, but the idea was that I would take inspiration from the places of the world that I've been and the dives that I've been on, kind of build that into the scape. So this section is the cavern section. So this reminds me of my dives in Vanuatu, which carries on a little bit to here. This is the denser part, rock more together, which is more like the Fiji diving that I've done. Fantastic place, by the way. Highly recommend it. Hillary didn't want to go when I asked her. I don't know why, but that's another story for another day. And then the drop-off section, this reminds me of the Bummies. If we have anyone from Australia joining us, probably pronouncing that wrong, you can fix my enunciation on that. Drop-off section reminds me of the Bummies in Australia, where Jimmy and I have been there in the deep section. So the aquascape was supposed to remind me of the dives. Now, I have all types of fish and coral from different parts of the region of the world. I didn't want to go just region-specific tank because I've seen too much pretty stuff all over the world. So I wanted to do something different with that. Okay. So,
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
Somebody on Facebook asked, what is your most favorite fish in there? And what is your most expensive fish in there?
Okay.
And I think those are questions I want to know the answers to as well.
I don't have a favorite fish. I have a couple of favorites because they all have their own personalities. Some of these fish, like my blonde naso here, she's been with me for 13, almost 14 years now. So there's a lot of kind of memories with that fish. Other fish kind of gain more experience or gain higher up on the like. This is the female swallowtail. Here's the male. So these guys just started spawning. They probably won't do it tonight because I've got the lights on. They're thinking it's time to go to bed. But every night, those two get together and I watch them spawn, which is super cool. So, but this is one of my favorites. This is the first fish I look for when I come back from trips like I did today. This is a bandit angelfish, only available in Hawaii, collected deep about 300 feet. Since the Hawaii fishery is now closed for bad reasons, then you can't get this guy anymore. They did captive breed him for a while, but they're not captive breeding him anymore. If you wanted to pick one of these up today, you got to find one in an existing tank. No, it's not for sale. Even for you, Ken Brown, sorry, you can't have it. Probably a $6,000 fish. But he is the reason, one of the
I'll
main
give you
reasons.
$7,000 for that.
No. One of the main reasons I have a generator is because of this guy, because I know I can't get him. He's super valuable and he's super cool. I remember the first time I saw him, they were on wholesale for $800, which I thought was a bunch of money. Still is. But now they're not available. So I'm happy I got my hands on one. So he's a favorite. What else is a favorite, Jimmy? So another one of my favorites is this guy down here. This is an Achilles gull rim hybrid. If you want an Achilles tank, I don't recommend it, but I do recommend the gull rim hybrid. It is exactly that. It's a hybrid between a white cheek and then an Achilles tang. So they have the orange tail, yellow top line. Where'd he go? I know he's hiding. And they don't have the orange teardrop, but it's a very fun fish, very pretty fish, and they're black. They do get to be jerks, so you want to put them in last. But that's one of my favorite fishes as well. Of course, you got to have the iconic yellow tang. That's the fish that got me into the saltwater hobby. I have two of them, captive bred. So I like supporting captive bred aquaculture when I can. That's a favorite. And then we go to this fish. Oh, well, everyone likes the pyramid butterflies. These guys, these are a reef safe butterfly. 100% reef safe. Haven't seen them on stock lists for a while, but I have 5 of them cruising around the tank. But one of my favorites that's often overlooked, we did a show on it here at saltwateraquarium.com, is this little dude. This is a Rolandii damselfish who carves down his little territory. He actually lives over here. Actually, he lives a little over here. So he hangs out just in this territory. It's like 1 foot by 1 foot by like 1 foot. That's his whole territory. If someone comes in it, he might chase him off just to push him around, but he's not going to kill anyone. And he doesn't cruise around the tank and cause problems like other damsels. So super fun fish, really colorful. He's just got his little territory and he just hangs out there. So if you're looking for a damsel, that's fun. These guys are fun. I have 4 of them in the tank. That's a cool fish that's often overlooked. So there you go, Jimmy. What do you think? Did I answer that question all right for you, buddy? You
Yeah,
approve of this?
that's pretty awesome. I thought you didn't like damsels.
Only these guys. See, here's another one. I got another one right there.
It reminds me that my fish Cheese does the same thing. He's got one little home he hangs out in.
Yep, that's all they do, which is another reason they're cool. Like you can come and you know where they're going to be, and they come out and look at you and you look at them, but he doesn't wander around the tank. They all build their little territory. He's looking at me. He's like, what are you doing? Because that's their little hangout. Okay.
So someone did ask, and I'm sorry I scrolled through and I missed it. And I know we'll get to it because you're going to give us a more technical tour. But because you're there by the drop-off, someone wanted to know what lights are you using there by the drop-off and what kind of par are you getting at that depth? Did you need a special light? Because it's most of us don't have a tank that gets that deep.
Yes. So no idea about par readings in the tank. I don't get caught up in numbers. I just look at its coral and go, is it growing? Yes. My tank parameters are good.
How come you measured par in my tank then?
Because I wanted to teach you. It's like the abacus in grade school, Jimmy. Remember when you're in grade school and you used an abacus? You had to learn how to use the abacus before you could learn to do it longhand in a calculator. And then you can move on to the big stuff. So we were teaching you the basics. That's why. But to answer the rest of your question, tank is lit by, I don't even know how many I have now, 8 Ecotech Marine Radions with AI blades right next to them for supplemental. I have them over the drop-off here. They provide plenty of light. I have another 4-foot tank that in the Nashville area that I maintain for a client. It has radions, no problem getting light down to the bottom. Now we're not getting crazy par, but we're getting enough to keep these hammer corals happy, keep the Recordias happy, keep the chalice happy. So I don't go nuts on par numbers. We've got some LPS down here that's happy with it as well. So don't know the numbers, but I look at the coral and know everything looks good, and it runs with that. Great question. All right. In terms of flow, when I started the tank, I did not have the MP60s on the back, on the end of the tank here, because I didn't need them. I didn't have a lot of coral growth. But in time, I added 2 MP60s on this end. We added the AI gyre product as well, which I like that. It provides a little different flow. I can actually make it run backwards, which is fun to push the water down here. And then on the overflow end of the tank, there's 2 MP60s on each side. So there's 2 here, and on the other side of the tank, there's another 2. There's also 2 closed loop systems underneath the tank, pulling and pushing water around the system as well. I definitely need more flow in this thing, especially with these big corals that tend to get in the way and block stuff. Jimmy, do you want to frag of this while you're at it? Or Hillary? I can easily cut it up for you. No problem.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
I just
Purple
came back, my
Slimer too?
internet dropped.
Oh,
What I
okay.
missed.
Here's one of your favorite. This is another fun fish, by the way. The old hawkfish, not the one that like Jimmy had that killed everything, but the long nose is a fun fish. There he is. Okay. So that's what happens upstairs. To give you again context, this is above the garage. Right below me is the garage. That's the addition. Right below that is the fish room. So let's go downstairs. Again, if you all have questions, fire them off. Jimmy or Ken can ask them. I'm going to take you downstairs, show you the filtration, what makes this thing tick. Let's go for a walk. We need a screen for that, right? Okay. Back to the garage. Blow out the wall. Ta-da! Fish room. Give you all context. 9 feet wide, 9 feet wide-ish, 20 feet long. It's about what it is. As I said, raised and drained flooring. This is a fiberglass product. Water falls through the floor. Actually, let's demonstrate that. I don't have to stand in water. It drives me crazy standing in water, even water on the floor. You spill water, it falls right through the floor. You're not standing in water. It drains away. I don't have to squeegee stuff. I can put stuff on here. It's dry. Absolutely love this stuff. Not cheap, but it's great. So even though this tank, this fish room is 9 by 20, you run out of room very, very quickly. So much so that I had to make some decisions on things. Maybe I had to give up something. One idea was that I wanted a frag tank. I knew I wanted a frag tank. But by the time I put in the frag tank, put in the sump, I'm really out of room on this wall because of the door. Well, what do you do when you run out of room here? You do like they did in New York City where Jimmy is. You go up. I knew I wanted a refugium as well. So the refugium is bolted to the wall as well as bolted to the ceiling. It's actually bolted to the steel that holds up the tank as well, so that this is out of the way. So underneath it, I can have a frag tank. No more frag tank or refugium. You have both by going vertical and getting it both done. Great use of space. I've done this for a couple clients. I'm going to do that a couple more times this year by putting the refugium. So to give you some idea, again, the tank is upstairs. It's actually kind of over here. So the water comes out through the overflow. And instead of bolting it onto the ceiling, I ripped out the drywall, put it up in the ceiling. The pipes run hidden up in the ceiling, and then they come down there. These are the drain lines. So the water comes out of the tank, drains into the refugium here, drains through the refugium, drains out into the roller mat, into the sump, which has integrated ultraviolet. There's 300 watts of ultraviolet sterilization, and return pump Biz A400, GFO and carbon. And then this is something that's gone through a couple iterations. I had an external skimmer for a while, tried a couple of those, didn't like them, went back to what I like and has always worked, which was to put the skimmer in the sump, but the sump was already in place. And I was going to run out of room because I knew I was going to have coral, which needed supplementation in the form of a calcium reactor. I have the frag tank. I've got the sump. If the sump was bigger and went out over here to make the skimmer fit in the sump, where am I going to put the calcium reactor in this room? Because it's big on a 1,000-gallon tank. So external skimmer went away. Little sump, it's really just a sump for the skimmer, went in. Bubble King skimmer went in, which left me the underspace for the calcium reactor underneath here. Again, when you run out of space horizontal, you go vertical. So underneath this, basically a table, is the calcium reactor. So that let me utilize the space. Big on automation. Everything gets controlled by Coral View Hydros. It gets primary control. Apex does control of the lighting, but it's mainly run on the Hydros now. Switched to this a little bit ago. Been very happy with that. All these products here you can see at SaltwaterAquarium.com. Started with the launch, XP8s, X4s, automated water testing with alkalinity at the moment. Maybe if the Maven ever comes out, then it'll get replaced. But the IV and the X10 does alkalinity testing. So I keep an eye on that. That's the automation on this side. For those of you that have been watching, yes, I have a Trident as well. I had one, had the reagents. Why not just run it? I can kind of check them against one another. If for some reason I run out of reagent in one, then the other one's running. Why not? That's all the filtration side. Other side of the room is 200 gallons of RODI water and salt water. so that I have at least 10% water change on hand at any given time. 200 gallons each, 200 gallons of RO, 200 gallons of salt. Where's the RODI unit? Well, I really didn't have room. So you put it underneath the custom sink that's designed to house the unit, and a custom sink that matches the frag tank and the sump as well. Here's the behind the scenes. Here's the stuff you don't see on camera, because here at SaltwaterAquarium.com, we're actually hobbyists. We don't just live in a shiny YouTube studio where everything is shiny and clean and neat. We actually have a bunch of shit in our fish
I was
rooms.
just thinking that, dude. Why don't you clean that place?
Everywhere,
Dude, it is
dude.
clean.
Come
Look,
on.
I got boxes of stuff. Like, look, see, everything is organized. Testing stuff here, elements. Anyway, point is, we actually are real hobbyists here at SaltwaterAquarium.com. So our studios, you have some of this stuff. Also in the fish room, you got to have the fish freezer. Keep all your fish food in here. And of course, the human food. Hey, that looks good. Maybe I'll have that when I'm not on camera. That's some ice cream sandwiches. Keep the fish food in the freezer. Talk about making your spouse happy. Here's LRS. This is what I feed my fish. We have this here at SaltwaterAquarium.com now. This is my primary diet for my fish. I had the herbivore frenzy because it has nori pieces mixed in. I'm never mind giving my fish extra nori. So I have a freezer that's just for fish food, but somehow human food makes its way in here. But it keeps all this fish food, even though it doesn't stink, your spouse is going to think it stinks, keeps it all here in the fish room. So that's there. Quarantine tanks. I quarantine any fish that comes into my system or any of my client systems. These are the big quarantines. These guys, they're actually going to go into the tank tomorrow. Some more Anthias and chalk bass. They're done with their 14-day of quarantine, which I use Seachem's Cupramine product. Ta-da! Like I said, we're actually hobbyists. We're doing this ourselves and giving you all feedback. This is what I use on the tank. Insider information. If you use Cupramine, you want to use Seachem's copper test kit, because this actually can measure the copper that Cupramine is. If you use a different copper test kit, it may not be designed to measure that type of copper. So if you use Cupramine, you need Seachem's test kit as well. All right, so 2 quarantine tanks. When I have a lot of fish that I need to quarantine, I have extra tanks. These are just in storage at the moment. Those of you asking about quarantine tanks, when I'm not using them, I break them down. I'll sterilize them. They get dried out and ready to use again.
Mark,
I bomb the tank with nitrophine bacteria. Get it going again.
shameless
Yeah,
plug, but people are asking, what is your job? Like, what do you do for a living? Do you just work for Saltwater doing YouTube, or do you want to tell people like who you are? Maybe, I guess.
I do a couple things. Videos here at SaltwaterAquarium.com. I build and maintain saltwater tanks. I actually flew in today from Washington, D.C. I have to move tanks. I was checking on existing clients as well. I maintain tanks, build and maintain them here in the Nashville area, but aquariums, saltwater aquariums specifically, that's the whole gig. This is all I do. This isn't a side hustle. If that's you, that's fine. I'm just saying for me, I've been doing this full time for, what's this, 2016? Sorry, 2026. Been doing it full time for almost 18, 19 years now. So that's the gig. Saltwater all the way. Saltwater's in my life. This is what I do for a living. Part of that is building tanks, stocking tanks, which is why I have the quarantine system and the frag grow out system as well. So I can quarantine fish and put coral in client systems. Okay, we got any questions about the fish room? I'm going to go to this side since you guys think I'm so messy, because that's real life.
I have a question. That the floor being up above, you have that the concrete floor underneath. Does that before you put that grate floor above it, did you have to seal that concrete knowing that it was going to get wet a lot?
I didn't, and I should have done that probably. I don't have any problems with the concrete breaking up underneath here, but if I had to do it again, I would seal.
So you're doing a house with that floor right now in Texas?
Two houses, one in Texas, one in Tennessee, and maybe we're just designing one in I got a new client. He said, I want a 40 by 60 party garage with fish tanks. Go. I get to design the whole thing. How's that,
That's
Jimmy?
pretty rad. So will you seal? That'll be a concrete floor that you'll seal.
Yeah, I'll recommend that they seal it. Of course, anything recommendation is up to the clients if they want to do it, but that's not sealed because it's I'm above it. I would have done that if I could do it again. I would just go ahead and seal it, but it's not sealed currently.
What would you do different? What things would you do different? Like, is there anything that you want to refurbish, or you're a little disappointed with, or you just maybe overlooked? Because I mean, it's an overwhelming system with lots of pieces. I don't even know how
Jimmy,
you did it.
What do you mean it's overwhelming? It's very basic.
Well,
Ready?
honestly,
Tank, refugium, sump, skimmer, water goes
you're
back
right.
upstairs. What's so hard
in
about
fairness,
that?
it's the same, just a larger scale. You're right. It kind of is. I think what people don't realize is it's been a progression. You just said how long you've been in it, but the first thing when I saw Mark speak years ago at one of the conferences, I was video recording him, and a thing that stuck out in my mind was he told everyone, "This is my first tank." Showed a picture of him when he was a kid. This is my 500 gallon. This is my whatever. And he just said, if you're going to get a tank, the first piece of advice I'd have for you is go bigger than you think you want, because it's going to get small fast.
Yeah. There's two parts of my saltwater life. This is a good question here. And I'll talk about tank sizes because, yes, that's a part of it. I got into the hobby in 1989 because my father bought me a tank on Christmas Day. That was my Christmas gift. I'm pretty convinced my father wanted things for himself, so he just got it for my brother and I, so that way we could take care of it and he could live vicariously through us. So I had freshwater tanks. He's like, hey, you're ready for saltwater? Come downstairs. There's a 75-gallon oceanic tank with the oak trim on the oak stand. You've been in saltwater aquariums long enough, you remember this. It had an undergravel filter and fake coral that we bleached once a week because how cool you were as a saltwater aquarium keeper is how white your quote live rock was. Your live rock was nothing but large coral skeletons. I actually may have it up underneath the tank upstairs. I'll check on that. I may show you that later in the stream. So 1999, I had a 75-gallon tank. We didn't keep coral back then. It was really a predator tank, but it didn't do so well because once a month I was taking out the rock and bleaching it. I would dechlorinate it, but of course it was killing off a lot of the nitrophile bacteria. Fast forward a couple of years, got out of saltwater aquariums. I actually got into horses. There you go, Jimmy. Did you know that I was a rodeo guy for a while?
I did.
You did, right? Okay.
And I know your wife still rides horses.
Yes. So got out of aquariums. Fast forward to 2007, 2008. I bought my first house with my wife. She said, hey, happy birthday. And she gave me a freshwater aquarium kit. And I looked at it and said, oh,
let me just laugh real quick. That's hilarious, by the way. Oh, sorry, dude. I feel the pain. I feel the pain because my wife bought me a 42-gallon oceanic hexagon. And I'm like, I'm making this saltwater. I don't care.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I said. I go, did you have the receipt? She goes, yeah, I had the receipt. I'm like, great. We're going to take it back and make it a saltwater tank. So we took it back to Petco and I went and bought all the stuff, how I used to do it 20 years earlier, setting up a saltwater tank, brought in a gravel filter and set it up again and relearned everything about saltwater tanks and figured out I did it completely wrong. This was a 29-gallon tank. So I had to go back and relearn everything about saltwater aquariums because it had evolved so much over 20 years. So that was about March. I had a 29-gallon. And then about July, I had a 55-gallon. And then about December, I got a 90-gallon. And that tank was with me for a couple of years till I moved to Tennessee. Then I got a 235-gallon, 225. Then I got 300. And then we moved. A year later, we moved. I got a 375-gallon tank. A year later, we bought this house. I had a 450-gallon tank. That tank was up for 3 years. And then we added on to the house, and I got a 975-gallon tank. So there you go. There's my whole saltwater life up to now. But Jimmy, the question was, what would I do different? Well, the first thing I would do different starts in here. I would make this room bigger. It's 9 feet wide right now. It's not big enough. I'm doing one that's 10 feet wide. It's pretty much big enough. I would make it longer if I could. Ideally, another foot or two this way, another 5 or 10 feet that way. If I could make it longer, that would give me a lot more room for filtration stuff. Already talked about this a little bit. Would definitely keep the skimmer internal. I would probably, in this setup, if the room was longer, I could put the skimmer in the sump, which is how I like to do it. It makes it simpler. And if this overflows, it overflows into this tank. External skimmers are just a whole ball of wax. Internal is much easier. I found they work better. So I would have changed this up as well. Oh, here's another thing. I would have put a bunch more of these power outlets. You can never have enough power outlets in a fish room. Now, one thing I did do that I like is I put one up here, this cool little thing.
That.
So if I need power
Dude,
in the
that's
middle of the
awesome,
room,
by the way. That's super awesome.
I highly recommend this. This is super great. But I definitely would have put in more power outlets in the room. I did not put enough. I've got enough power. I just don't have enough outlets. Other than that, I would have put, there's some stuff I would have done in the tank. I would have put more closed loopholes in the tank if I do it all over again. And I would have made the drop off 6 inches longer. So the deeper section of the tank, I would have made that 6 inches longer. That's really the big things. I mean, I talked about doing the real reef arches, but when I built the tank, they weren't out yet. I played with the idea, and Jimmy, don't you dare instigate this one on me. Like maybe I rip out part of the aquascaping and put in real reef arches and kind of start over because the corals are doing so well. But
It's kind of a trend these days.
I know, but I'm like, I don't know that I like, because like once you start moving, here's a hint for you. If you think you want to redo your aquascape and you're like, I'm just going to move one rock, you'll never get it back to how it was. And then it's like Pandora's box. You're like, I'm going to move this one, and then I'm going to move this one. And then you're like, I think I'll put it back. It will never go back how it was. And then you're like, oh, I don't like it. Now I got to move this. And next thing you know, your whole aquascape has changed when you might have even just wanted to change one section. So if I do it, Jimmy, let's do this. If I redo any of the aquascaping, real reef arches, Jimmy and Hillary have to come and help me and film the whole thing. How's that? There you go.
Love it. I'll be there.
All right. Any other questions before I go upstairs and turn it over to Hillary with her guests about my system? I'm going to go upstairs while you all are thinking about any questions you may have. Oh, definitely put a metal door on your fish room because everyone's got a whole bunch of aquarium magnets. It's a great place to put them. Oh, here's something I use. We got a QR code on this one, Ken. Two Little Fishies Mega Veggie Mag, because it's made for 3/4-inch tanks. Not
today, but if you want me to, I can review the special deals that are for stream viewers only while you walk upstairs.
Perfect. So yes, metal door in your fish room. It's a great place to keep all your magnets. Oh, and by the way, ORA clams, ORA is for sale, on sale right now. But with that, you all, I said that those of you that are on the stream, we've got some special giveaways and deals and who knows what else. That's true. I'm going to let the boss, Ken Brown, talk about that while I go back upstairs. Ken, it's all you.
What's up, guys? Thanks for joining us. I wanted to go over a couple things we're doing different. For viewers that are watching the stream right now, we have some special deals. Here's the first one up. If you buy anything from our coral farm, these Red Sea Refuge coral viewing lenses will be added automatically to your cart. So all you have to do is go to saltwateraquarium.com under the live section or scan the QR code on your screen right now. Buy anything in that category during the live stream tonight, and you'll get a free pair of glasses. In addition to that, we're running this promo. This is Seache Pump Clean. This is the best product I find to wash, clean all of your pumps. Return pumps, wave pumps. This product works fantastic. This is free if you buy any Seache product during the live stream. And then the third item, this is called the first 50 customers. So if we've already had 50 customers, these will run out of stock and it won't work. So the first 50 customers to buy something from our coral farm gets glasses, something Seache gets pump clean, and anything from our food category. Our food category is rather large. You'll receive a jar of Two Little Fishy seaweed flakes, green seaweed flakes. So I would like to show you the food category real quick. Boom. At saltwateraquarium.com, if you go under food, anything in this category. Frozen food, LRS, brand new brand we just brought in, food, coral food, dry fish food, all of those. For the first 50 customers during the live stream, all 3 of those products are free and they stack. So if you get something from a coral farm, you get a food item, and you get a CJ product, you'll have 3 free items in your cart. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for supporting the stream. And Hillary, guess what?
Are we up?
It's go time. I'm going to go ahead and bring
King
the boys
Hillary.
on.
Sweet.
Howdy.
All right. So tonight we are going to talk about cold water tanks, and I have 2 very special guests who are joining me. I'll wait for them to get in here. So as we're starting up, we're kind of going to talk about some of the basics of cold water tanks. We're going to talk about some of the equipment that you're probably going to need, and then just go over some of the challenges and some of the experiences that these 2 guests have had. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, if we have time, they have a ton of amazing experiences, including working with public aquariums and collecting stuff from the wild. So maybe if we have time, we'll talk a little bit about that. But I'll go ahead. Stu, I see you here on camera. I'm going to give you a little bit. Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background. And then when Josh hops in, we'll let him do the same.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me. Awesome to be on SaltwaterAquarium.com's live stream. Yeah, my name's Stu Wabi. I've, been into all kinds of aquariums for 30-ish years now, pretty much my whole life. Started out in Oregon, go Ducks. I'm now on the East Coast in New Hampshire, so that kind of bodes to the tank that's behind me. But I started out just kind of with a background of marine biology, wanting to go to school for that. Met some great people back in Oregon. Met Ken Wingirter, who's now at Hydrospace running that, doing the PNS. We've worked in the same aquarium shop when I was in college and he was in college, so we got to talk a lot about really weird aquarium keeping, which led into cold water stuff. Living on the Oregon coast, we had both gone to and from collecting stuff, just looking at things, being interested in it. My dad was an avid fisherman, so every time that we'd go fishing, me and my brother would be out there just flipping rocks and looking for stuff. And he would, we'd come back with buckets full of things, crabs and anemones, and he's like, all right, that's neat, go put it back. So, all right, so we go put it back. And I just every single time I'm like, man, I really want to have this in a home aquarium. But it just wasn't really like a sensible thing to do in the late 90s. In the early 2000s, it's like, who has a giant chiller and who has a insulated aquarium and where do you get livestock, and all these different questions were popping up. And that's stuff that me and Ken would kind of spitball over ideas. And along the way, I met Josh in 2010 when I had a break, did the marine biology thing. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a way back. But the had a bit of a break with the marine biology stuff. Went off and got a job at a bank and had a family. And it was, 10 years later, I'm like, oh man, it would be really cool to bring up some of those ideas that we had back in the day. So I started searching online, and at the time there was the housing crisis was happening. Nobody wanted to carry live seafood, so all these stores liquidated all their lobster tanks. And I just happened to have gotten my first house and had an empty garage, and I'm like, you know what, maybe I'll fill it full of lobster tanks and have a cold water aquarium in my neighborhood. And I literally had, we started doing it, just started as a hobby of I wanted to prove that I could do it, because we never thought that we could when we were younger. It was like, nah, it's just not feasible. Like, nobody's really doing it. The ideas were there, but it was more of the realm of public aquarium at the time. So I was like, well, lobster tanks make sense. It's a dual insulated tank, it has a built-in chiller, it has all the things that you'd need. It's just really big and clunky and loud and industrial. So I got into the habit of refurbishing them to make them kind of more home suitable. And at one point,
Okay.
I actually had one inside my house that used to be, that was literally the display tank from a Red Lobster. And
That's
it
awesome.
was like, it was crazy. It was like the one
With
that
the
had
fountain and everything.
yeah, with the waterfall right in the middle. So my wife is very understanding, by the way. So shout out to her. She let me have a lobster tank in our living room, and I refurbished it to make it nice-ish. And that was about the time that I met Josh, was when I was doing the refurbishing of lobster tanks, just buying them, reselling them on Craigslist, doing that kind of stuff. Keeping one, upgrading to the next nicest one. Got a big free tank from one of my neighbors, hooked that up, plumbed that into the lobster tanks to use as a sump. Then that was, gosh, I met Josh when I sold one of the lobster tanks to a local fish store, and I literally dropped a card in it, and I was like, if anybody wants to go tide pooling, give me a call, and dropped it in the fish tank. And Josh was the person who bought the lobster tank that I sold to the local aquarium store in Portland, Oregon. And he gave me a call and was like, hey, I bought this lobster tank, and that was how we met.
That's awesome.
But yeah, like that was the most random thing ever. Gosh, and right about that same time when we were talking about what we wanted to do, Steve Wiest was doing his cold water tank in Portland, or in the outskirts of Portland. And
It was when it
happened
was
to
in his fish room.
yeah,
It
when
wasn't even the main tank. It was just a small little display in his fish. What was it? His sump tank area.
Yeah, he was doing basically experimental cold water tanks underneath his extra large reef tank that he had back in the day. And then he ended up setting up a larger cold water tank, and we just kind of just from questioning him about things, asking him, he broke down his tank at one point. We inherited a bunch of his livestock, and then it just kind of all spiraled into us, like, where do we get livestock from? Well, let's be the people that do that. And yeah, and that's
So I'm going to ask. A lot of customers are asking, what is a cold water tank exactly? Like, what goes into it? Like, what do you do?
Well, so that was one of the big things. Like early on, it wasn't really explored. So it was people were working with dual pane glass, like the lobster tanks, and they're like, well, that's not really feasible for a home aquarist to have. Luckily, in Oregon at the time, there was a acrylic manufacturer who was doing lots of stuff with really thick acrylic. So really thick acrylic tanks started kind of popping up here and there. And people in larger systems in the past would always use those. But the
When
gist of a
rimless
cold
started
water
getting
tank,
big.
yeah, like frag tanks and rimless tanks, they use thicker acrylic for the structure, but it also works great for insulation. So it prevents thermal gain, condensation on the glass. But the gist of a cold water tank is it's a saltwater tank that you're running at the temperatures of temperate zones. So like 45th parallel kind of, you're thinking like in the US, it would be Alaska down to like Northern California. That water temperature is, low 40s, 50s, 60s, creeps into the 70s occasionally, but it's that ambient temperature of temperate and cold water. East Coast is a little different, but circumglobular, there's tons of temperate zones. So that kind of defines the realm of where cold water tanks would occur as far as the livestock and what you'd be mimicking. But the keeping of it really comes down to insulation, lower temperatures with a larger chiller, and then food in, food out. Almost like a fish only with livestock, or with live rock, but not so much focused on the live rock aspect because the biological processes happen a little slower in colder water.
That makes sense. All right, Josh, I'm going to let you hop in here real quick and give an introduction for yourself. And then we've already started going through some of my questions, but we'll continue.
Hi, Hillary.
I can't help myself. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm Josh Groves. Like Stu said, we met mid 2000s, early 2000s. Both of us have a background in reef keeping. I think I started keeping my first reef tank mid to late 90s. Actually, one of the first people I ever met was one of my neighbors who was an avid keeper working at a local shop, Waves Marine. He's actually watching right now. Jordan Knoll. He used to live in Oregon. Now he's in Florida, relocated there years and years ago to work for ORA. He's their head sales. So if everyone wants to say hi to Jordan.
Hey, Jordan.
But at the time, he was breeding rare clownfish, or rare to us at the time. I think he was working with the blue stripe clowns. And he was kind of a big, somebody that I looked up to in that in the tropical side. And then, just like Stu said, I grew up on the Oregon coast. My grandparents had a beach house in Newport, Oregon, right on the cliff side. And I used to walk down a trail, and it would spit you out right in Agate Beach, kind of near Yaquina Head. And there was tide pools down there. So I grew up tide pooling as a kid. That's what I did for fun when I'd be at the beach during the summer months and sometimes in the winter as well. But I got obsessed with things like sea anemones. So when I first started my first tank, like Stu said, I bought a little lobster tank, ended up going out with Stu. I really enjoyed keeping anemones. They were kind of my favorite thing ever. I don't know how the rest of you guys are with sea anemones, but I love them. Even in my tropical tank that I have on the wall behind me, I keep weird anemones, curlicue anemones, stuff that a lot of people don't keep. But anyhow, I started doing that. And I think when we started Cold Water Marine Aquatics and started collecting, me and Stu were actually just out collecting together for personal. And I think the question I posed to him is, why don't more people keep them? And I think our answer was because there's no wholesalers or livestock sellers. And I asked Stu, well, why don't we just fill that gap? And he instantly said, no, you can't do it. And then I think that night he went home and read every bylaw that Oregon had when it came to obtaining the proper permits and highlighted everything. So we went down and actually presented it to the Oregon Fish and Wildlife. We're able to obtain collection permits, and we did everything. We did the collection, we did the buying, we did the selling, and then from there it kind of spitballed into us importing and exporting everything temperate, and mainly for public aquariums at that time. And then we branched into retail, selling retail on an online site. And we did that for quite a few years. So we've sold almost every major aquarium in the USA and around the world, Malaysia, Dubai, I mean, all over the place. And then that kind of got us into going to things like MACNA, going to do talks. We were at the first wrap showing off a baby giant Pacific Coast octopus. I mean, it kind of was a whirlwind, featured in articles, TV, all that kind of stuff. And now we're on SaltwaterAquarium.com's giveaway day with Hillary Jaf, which is another one of our heroes, up and coming, going out tide pooling herself on the West Coast.
You guys are
yeah.
talking about like living out here on the coast. I'm like, man, I wish we all lived here at the same time.
I know,
we
right?
tide pooling together. That would be so much fun.
I know, and I just left too. I made the move to the East Coast. I'm in upstate New York, about what, 3.5, 4 hours from you, Stu?
Yeah, you're about 4 hours now.
Yeah,
hey, I
so
got a lot of frequent flyer miles, and I could use another cold water tank. I'll take any excuse.
I'm actually in the middle of starting a new project. I've got, I don't know if you can see them since everyone else is showing off their tanks. I
Let's see your
did,
tanks.
Yeah.
so I did wall mount tanks, and you can't see it very well, but I turned the lights on so everything's asleep. So this is a Florida biotope, and it's mainly gorgonians and stuff like that. And I have a matching one I turned off over here on purpose because it's freshwater. But, and it's all this is through the wall. So I actually, me and Stu, and it's also running with an iPad, so I'm up to date. This one's off too, but I actually went through the wall, and I have everything on the other side. So unlike Mr. Saltwater, which has an amazing tank and likes to go big, I actually went small because I like the room in my house to be very large in my living room. But anyways, I've got a new project because I had my last tank that was kind of, I guess, now iconic because it's been featured in a lot of magazines and online. I had a tide pool touch tank that was an Oregon biotope that Stu helped me put together. That was done by Brian Harnish at Titan Aquatics, built it for an exhibit we put on. and I ended up putting together. I donated it when I moved to Bellingham to the Bellingham Aquarium, so it's actually fixated there forever now. I did a full custom build out at their aquarium, all wood surround. And anyways, the new one is going to be a matching wall mount tank that's going to mimic the other two with the stainless trim and everything. And that's going to be hopefully a cup coral dominated tank, Bonophilia, which is an orange cup coral, much like Tabastria in the tropical trade. It grows on the West Coast, and I'm going to feature Catalina gobies because they're my favorite fish, and that
so
will
pretty.
and I'm obsessed with gobies. I even have a pair of kind of hard to find nowadays, but the orange spotted prawn gobies from Florida. I've got a pair in there with some tiger shrimp, but I really like Catalinas, and that's going to be a pet project because Stu's friend Ken Wingirter was one of the first people I ever know before a institute actually bred them, that successfully bred them. So he actually worked with them and bred them. And that kind of goes into probably something Stu will bring up later about a trip we might take to Peru for livestock, because there just happens to be more of the same family. I think they're the Dahlia family, right? I always forget the scientific name of the Catalina gobies. I think it's I'm sure somebody could look it up.
Dahlia, yeah.
Yeah,
well,
there's like
some really cool
3 or
ones.
4 other species in Peru. They're also temperate water. So
Now, I actually have a question now for Ken, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, Ken. Is that something that we carry in our fish livestock? Or do you not know? Oh, I think you're muted.
What is it exactly?
the
Catalina gobies?
Oh, he's looking.
Does
I feel like
does ORA?
No, Ora doesn't carry them. They're a true temperate water species. They've only been bred in captivity, I think, by one organization and institute bred them, and then King Winger bred them while he was working for a company that was doing foods. They were using them to, I think, to test their foods on breeding projects.
I don't think we do. We don't carry that now.
oh, God.
Well, if you do, maybe I'll get my brood stock in the future from you.
Yes.
Heck yeah.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about the equipment. If somebody is interested in setting up a cold water tank, can you run us through some of the basic, let's break this down, some of the basic equipment that you need to have. Let's start off with things that are absolute must-haves, and then things that, would be nice to have, but you don't have to have.
Ooh, Stu loves talking about. Am I talking about? I'll talk about it.
Go for it.
Well, I did get on SaltwaterAquarium.com, and you guys carry my favorite American brand of chiller that I always recommend to the Americans, because there are some European counterparts, but here in America, I would always run JBJ, and you guys do have them on your site, and they are a great brand of chiller that's backed. I know we used to work with Manny. I don't know if he's still there. Hopefully he is, but their product seems to outlast everything we've ever used. And chiller is always going to be the backbone of the aquarium, because you got to have cold water. And then the second is going to be thickness of the glass. Stu could probably go into more into that as far as why that's not just important because of things like dew point and sweating, like a glass on a hot day. If you try to use glass is not a good insulator. Glass seems to just let the heat in. Acrylic is a good insulator, so it's much like keeping everything in a refrigerator. I personally do things maybe slightly different than Stu, but I think we're on the same page. Carbon is not a necessary, but I like running carbon just as a backup. Things spawn, starfish. Well, Hillary, you've worked in the aquarium trade now long enough and ran cold water tanks yourself, correct, at Point Defiance?
I've assisted with feeding. I haven't actually gotten in, aside from jellyfish tanks.
Okay, well, a lot of things like sea anemones, just like in tropical, it's kind of the same meal deal. Sea anemones spawn, sea stars spawn, fish spawn. You always want something to buffer that, get rid of the waste or anything like that. So protein skimmer, carbon would be my secondary, and I like running UV.
Yeah.
Other than that, we started toying with things. I don't have to get into products because there's so many, but different kind of bricks for promoting biological, because in cold water tanks, everything is slowed down. So what would take a tropical tank overnight to cycle using products, it's going to take a little longer with cold water because things are slow. And I'll let Stu get into that. He loves getting into the science and this stuff.
Oh man, yeah. No.
I'm going to interrupt you real quick.
Yeah.
Because throughout this, we've got questions coming
Yeah,
through.
I saw there's some good questions coming in.
Oh, cool. So do canister filters work well for cold water tanks?
Ooh, the Europeans love canister filters.
Yeah, so they can. So I've seen setups where people have ran a canister filter and then pushed it through a chiller and then back to the tank. The problem with some of the canister filters is the thickness of the external of it and the tubing. So it depends on the temperature that you're running your tank and a couple other things. So they can work, and they would work just as well as any other filtration unit. I just like sumps personally. Gives me the option to do a lot more things, and you can affect the thickness of the sump if you need to. A little bit easier than you can with a canister filter, but I've seen canister filters. Actually, it was a cube tank that I was setting up for an octopus, and I kind of ran it this way with a canister filter into a chiller and then back into the tank. And it worked fine most of the time, but I did get condensation on the outside of the canister filter at one point, which sent me down a whole spiral of how do I prevent this. I ended up just wrapping it with thermal tape, like insulation tape. So that handled it. The bigger solution for that is now, like in the house that I'm in right now, when we moved, one of my big selling points was I had to make sure that the house had HVAC, AC, humidity control, and I wanted a basement area that was a walkout so that I could get a large tank on the first floor easily, and also so that I could build it out. And the basement was totally unfinished when we moved here, but basements generally stay a little bit colder than the rest of the house. So in my house, the main floor stays about 68 degrees, and the basement where I'm in, it's a walkout, so I can walk into my backyard, but it stays like 2 degrees cooler than that. So it's like, yeah, but I keep my tank at 57, so there's only a 10-degree difference for what my chiller is going to be doing. And with the HVAC maintaining the whole house at really 68, 70 year round, and keeping the humidity low, even when the outside humidity is really high, then I don't worry about the condensation and the thermal gain as much. So
Hillary, he's lying. Last time I stayed at his house, I slept in the back room right behind that tank, and it was probably about 49 degrees. So.
Well, I did. All right. So I did crank the AC a little bit, but
no, a lot
that
of
was, well, the vent that's in your room is right above that. So
Who actually doesn't
I'll fix
chiller,
it.
He just chills his basement.
Yeah, I just chill the whole basement. That's easier. It's easier. I'll just make a walk-in refrigerator is actually where I'm sitting. Yeah.
His house is the complete opposite of when you go into somebody's aquarium shop and it's hot and humid.
Yeah, it's cold and dry. That's my house. That's
what is somebody asking?
Well, customers are asking, what kind of livestock can you keep in a cold water tank? Like what type of things do you put in it?
Oh, here, let me see if I can. I'll just take this whole thing. So, like, we'll just scoot back in here. So some of the stuff that I got right now in my tank is, one of the cooler things is these guys right up here. These are a beadlet anemone. They are originally native to the other side of the Atlantic, along Europe, from like North Africa all the way to like Norway, Finland, but mostly around like all around the British Isles and Portugal. These are invasive now. There's a big article about them. They've been documenting them on iNaturalist in New Jersey for the past 3 or 4 years. And we actually took a trip down to New Jersey and self-collected them because they're an invasive species. And I'm like, I want them in my tank. They're not supposed to be here, but they're supposed to be in here. So that was really cool.
Actually, I'm going to interrupt you here because So one of my questions, because you guys have talked about collecting and stuff, and I've done some videos where I take a little tank out and I put stuff in it, and I always put it back. And can you briefly touch on collecting? Like, you have to have permits most places to take stuff off the beach, right?
Yeah, so it comes down to, in the United States, it's a state by state thing. For like example, in, let's see, you're up in Washington. Washington, the last time I checked, we had to, they don't allow, there's no collection really unless you are under scientific permit or if you're collecting for food, because they have it set up to where if it's a if it hasn't been a reviewed species, then you can't touch it. Whereas in Oregon, you can take things with a commercial fishing license. I actually just got a friend set up with the permits that we used to carry, who is now in Oregon and able to sell to the public, which is super cool because there was a big gap for years after we moved away. And yeah, shout out to Carter Peterson. I think he's in the live chat actually right now. I saw him mention something earlier. And his website is up. It's trippyfishaquatics.com. And he's doing the stuff that we used to do now since we're not in Oregon. For personal collection, even there, if you have a recreational fishing license, there's limited things you can take. So, and then in California, again, it's different regulations. I had to get used to all the new ones in New England because like Maine, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts all have reciprocity of their fishing permits. So some things you can take, and then you can take your license and go to the other state, and you can also take them there. It's very odd. So it's very state specific when it comes to that. And then that's just for personal collection. So getting things for yourself. As far as obtaining livestock other ways, the easiest way is there's collectors on both coastlines now and that was our big goal back in the day, was being a collector on one coast and then finding somebody else. So there is a gentleman out of Maine who does it at gulfofmaine.com. Tim, we used to buy stuff from him before we were collecting. It was awesome.
That's how we obtained the lumpfish.
Yeah, that's how we got lumpfish. We brought the Machna in Denver.
Love lumpfish.
Oh yeah, lump suckers.
All right, we've got a question for you. What lighting is that on your tank?
So, all right. So with cold water, it's a weird setup the way that I'll just jump to it. These are LEDs. They're LED spotlights. The white lights are flood and spot adjustable because I wanted to be able to pinpoint the light on my center structure. There's not really anything that's photosynthetic. None of the anemones are photosynthetic. So they don't require light to survive. They could be in a cavern, which is actually where I collected some of the larger northern red anemones, was at a -2 foot tide in Maine on the backside of a rock, crawling and up underneath I got dirty doing that one, but it was fun. So they don't need any light. So I really wanted to focus it more on the visual of what I wanted to see to get the light spectrum to be the right color. So I mixed blues with it. I didn't need the intensity of something like a Kessel or a giant output light because I didn't want it to overgrow with algae, but I did want to grow some macro algae. So it's been kind of a test run of figuring out what I wanted as far as how many watts for the necessary growth. And that's why I went with a track light setup, was because then I could add more, take some away. I went with an adjustable beam angle on the spot so that I could pinpoint the light onto the center structure or flood it out a little bit if I needed to. But yeah, the end goal might be going to Kessels because I think I want to start growing more algae. I just don't want it growing on the sides of my tank. So that's why I like the idea of spotlights, so I can avoid light to the outside edges, project it all to the middle where it draws your focal point anyways, and that's what you want to see.
But there is a lot of corals that are in the cold water and a lot of anemones that are photosynthetic. So it's not all photosynthetic, by the way.
No, well, the biggest example is on the other coastline, the setup that you were keeping with the giant green anemones. Those were amazing. Those are one of the most photosynthetic anemones on the West Coast. That's why they are bright green like that. It's the zooanthilly in them. So, yeah. So with those, something like running a Kessel would make perfect sense. And we actually used to do that. We used to do high output LED spotlights. These are lower output because I didn't need it, but yeah, we used to run, essentially they were like the Kessel, I think they were the Amazon Suns, because they were similar to like the amount of daylight, almost like a freshwater tank, the right spectrum for what they were needing at the time, because they're very shallow, so they don't get that deep penetration. They get full spectrum of all light right then and there. But yeah, so you can kind of go either way. You mix your lights the way that you need your tank to grow. Like this one, most of the corals are the anemones that I keep are all non-photosynthetic, but the algae needs it, but I don't want too much of it. So I've just been kind of finicky and playing with it.
I wonder if you could see this. Can you see this on here? That was.
Oh,
I
let
was
me.
just gonna ask you guys about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could see
Let me
it,
see if I
but
can share
that
it.
was my old tank with all the green surfs. Does it even show up? Does it show up?
There it goes.
Maybe. I don't know if it shows up or not, but I liked green surf anemones a lot. Very, very photosynthetic. In fact, they're probably like akin to maybe like a Ritteri magnifica anemone. Very, very high light spectrum to keep the color. And I've noticed that a lot of our intertidal anemones and sea creatures that are photosynthetic can be very, very high light. That's why Stu's tank is so easy, because all of this tank, but you don't have anything photosynthetic except for the algae right now, right?
Yeah, just the algae. I'm gonna try and get. I mean, I'll probably import some from from where we used to get stuff from in Portugal or in the UK. It seems like the more I look, though, the more there's the species that we used to just have to order are showing up here, coming across the ocean on boats, and are in like Boston Harbor. And there's rock pool shrimp that I've been collecting by the hundreds that are native to Europe that Biota Group actually breeds now. They're invasive from Maine all the way to Florida, but they have a huge temperature range. They can live in tropical tanks. They live in shallow tide pools. Yeah, so who knows? I mean, there's a bunch of cool stuff out there.
All right, I'm gonna have us bounce around again.
Yeah.
So you're talking about like non-native species that are in places that you wouldn't normally see them. Am I correct? Did you guys just do some collecting in New York
Oh yeah.
of like a whole bunch of fish that I would consider like tropical fish, and it boggles my mind to find them so far up.
Yeah, we went specifically for we were going for short big eyes. They are the tropical strays. They're fairly uncommon in the tropical trade in general. And it seems like a lot of people don't have longevity with them. They pop up for sale occasionally, but they get drifted up here as juveniles on the currents. And we started kind of seeing that they still catch adults offshore. So that means that they're not necessarily tropical strays, but juveniles do drift up here. They stay close inshore, but they go out to deeper water. And then one of the things I was looking into was that those occur down further south towards Florida and North Carolina, but they stay deeper there still. So a lot of these, and there's a deep water reef off of the Carolinas or the Atlantic Florida coast, and I can't remember the name of it, but I started looking into it, and they keep a lot of the deep water tanks run into the low 60s, and they're like right on that fringe. So I was playing with the temperatures in my tank, being that most of the animals fluctuate with the temperatures out here. And I'm like, well, I don't have to go super, super cold. And I could probably play on that fringe of temperate subtropical zone, but also a lot of these fish can handle either or. Like, but we went for short big eyes. There was
Butterfly, the one spot or the twin spots.
Yeah, there was a couple different butterflies. Trying to think what else there was. There's blue angels, I want to say, that have been popping up down there. They come up annually, and it's a different drift of the juveniles when they come up here in their planktonic stage, I think, and then they mature in the waters here. they grow, they feed, but they can't handle the deep cold that the Northeast gets later on. Like right now, the temperatures are starting to dip into the 50s, I want to say. And it's usually once they hit into that 50s, 40s range, most of those fish can't handle it and they die off. So annually, a lot of people go out and they collect all these tropical strays and they'll keep them. The ones that won't survive for sure, I mean, that makes sense. Keep them in your tropical tank. They're only here for the summer, basically. But I went looking for those short big eyes because the adults are still being caught by commercial fishermen in all times of the year, but much, much deeper, which the temperatures are very cold, but they're more stable than they are near shore. So that's what we went looking for, and we got super skunked, which was a bummer because we didn't get anything, but we did get a bunch of different things that we weren't expecting. We found feathered blennies, which are a very cool species that occur along the eastern seaboard. They don't occur much farther north than like Cape Cod, I want to say. They don't occur up to where I am, but in the Long Island Sound, we were like shocked. We found some different wrasse species like cunner. What else did we collect? We caught clingfish, which were really cool. In the tropical trade, they usually call them like skillet fish. They're the goby socks family.
Yeah. Really cool looking little guys.
Oh, I love them. I wonder if I have one out right now. They hug the sides of the tank and then they go inside of shells and stuff. So who knows where they go?
Yeah, they have the modified pectoral fin that acts like a sucker, just like a lump sucker.
Yes. If I had a cold water tank, it would have lump suckers, hands down.
Oh,
No
man.
questions asked.
Oh man, I've gotten to the point where I'm about to just buy some from Tim at Gulf of Maine because I want them so bad because I've gone out trying to net them and I keep getting skunked. And I've contacted. It drives me nuts because Josh and I were so good in Oregon at finding different species of livestock. We knew where everything was. We grew up out there. Like we had 40 years of recon of figuring where to go to collect. Like we knew where this anemone was, where this pipefish was, and then we flip. And I'm like, I don't know
We had it down to
the
the
entire.
for the yeah. I mean, how many? We had tons of.
Oh yeah, we could figure out the time of year when things were spawning on the West
If we had a
Coast. We're
public
like,
aquarium and they asked for a list of things, we could almost narrow it down to the time frame when we could ship.
right?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to look at was.
So I have a question for you. We're talking about like different fish in different temperature ranges. I know certain species of signathids are able to handle lower temperature ranges. When I say lower, I'm talking like closer to 70, 72, but that's a lot easier. It helps with like parasite load and stuff like that. Are there certain species of fish that you know of that would kind of be a crossover fish that would be able to handle like the upper end of some of those cold water temperatures?
Oh yeah. Well, Hippocampus erectus is found up and down here, and the guys pull them off the lobster pot strings out here. So that right off the top of my head is that's one of the. I think that's the lined seahorse is the common name, but it's they're all up and down around here. A lot of people will be photographing them. Divers in Rhode Island do a lot of native photography, and I've seen those pop up.
There's also
Australian stuff.
There's also the species in the Mediterranean that flying sharks gets up there. That looks very similar to a miniature version of a weedy sea dragon that still has the appendages. And I completely blanking on the name because we thought
Hippocampus gutillatus.
There you go, Hippocampus gutillatus, one of the most beautiful.
What a name!
Well, and it's one that I don't think has ever really been offered in the trade. We were offered them from a institute that was actually, I think, breeding them, and we were going to bring some in, but it just never came to fruition. But we have brought in the Wheaties, and we did that a couple times with a gentleman, Steve McLeod. He's kind of the other side of Carnes. Like Carnes is on one side, I believe, right? And he's like, I want to say around Perth.
He is down near Melbourne, I want to say.
Melbourne. That's right.
Yeah. He's
I think he was one of two collectors that was able to take them, and he was getting them actually captive bred last we were working with them. At first they were farm raised, because over there their laws only allow them to take buried males, and then once the buried males have released the fry, they have to return them to the water.
Let's see, where is? I was gonna say I got I got some pictures of all of this.
Oh, great. It's a lot easier to show it.
Right. Well, when we started going into it, I'm like, I know I have this. So, yeah, there was your old tank, if you can see that one.
I don't see anything. I see white.
Oh man, my sharing is not on par.
Yeah,
I
you're
thought I had it earlier.
on par.
I'll work on it. I had it all pulled up and I ex-need my screens, but
Oh man,
I know, right?
technical
Stop
difficulty.
sharing. Yep.
So
Well,
I've got another question for you while you're looking for photos.
Sure.
So obviously the livestock is going to be different in these tanks. And this may be a really stupid question, but like substrate that you're putting in the cold water tanks, I'm trying to think, like, is it really that different than my tropical reef tank?
It is. It can be different because we have always tried to go more, I would say, in situ with our tanks, trying to keep it more of a biotope. So we've always advocated for people to, especially if they're doing their own collections, to try to, if they can legally obtain the sand, the rock. Our biggest thing with that is, like, on the West Coast, our rock is primarily all basalt, and basalt is non-porous, and we usually try to add like bricks or something, like bio bricks or something, to add the porousness that we miss from like reef rock is very porous. That's why we keep it in our tanks. It promotes all of your beneficial bacteria. Bacteria, again, is a hard one for us, so we usually use the bricks and stuff like that. Oh, there's my old tank right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got it in here somewhere.
So that tank right there, the rocks protruding out of the water, that's solid basalt. So in order for me to get bacteria like we would in a tropical tank, I had to add a media, whether it's it could be bio balls, it could be bio bricks, it could be even pumice. So I get the surface area for bacteria. But we try to keep the tanks exactly how you'd see it. So that sand in the tank, everything there was collected from some portion of the Oregon coast. So every single thing in there was made to look like you're looking directly into a tide pool.
That's cool.
So like even Stu's tank, his tank is set up pretty unique, because we had that tank actually came from another hobbyist from Newport. He stole my car and drove it from Oregon all the way to New Hampshire with that tank and the sump tank in the car. I don't know how he fit it, but he managed. And it had a center overflow, so we had this difficulty of how do we hide this ugly center overflow. So I told him, get one of those fake rocks from Lowe's or Home Depot. Got the fake rocks that covers your electrical outlet in the front, the little electrical box. And he cut. You could see it in that picture. He cut down the center, spread it open, and actually wrapped it around the center overflow, and then let it grow over. But the rock actually really mimics the rock that we find on the East Coast. It looks just like it. So
it looks a lot like a piece of granite. It's crazy, but it grew over.
That's what you guys have, is granite slate down on the East Coast. So we try to mimic everything in the environment. And like you said, there's no like right or wrong. I've seen people that have added saltwater or tropical live rock style rock and still, let it grow over with sea anemones, and it looks fairly good, but it doesn't give the appearance. So I don't think there's any rules to it, or it's just you got to add surface area somehow. So if you're going to keep it native looking, how many bio bricks do you have in your tank?
There they are. I was gonna say
conveniently.
Yeah.
I
think I have 4, 8, 12. I think at one point I had 16 of them in there. I think those are the
And you've got them out of the water for anaerobic, which is good.
Yeah, I put them in different places. So I have in that far chamber, that's where it dumps over from that center chamber. So it gets aerated, and it grows a little bit differently, which is so it's doing the right thing. I'm getting the aerobic and the anaerobic, and like that center one stays submerged all the time.
But tell her how good it's working and your newest problem.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know if I don't even know if I have. So it's working well enough. I'll have to find. I don't have any uploaded pictures of it, but they're all on Facebook and they're in our Facebook group too for the Cold Water Marine Aquarium Owners Group. And I started growing. Well, here, let's see. I can probably just unshare and show you. Let's see.
Oh, this is fantastic. Real.
I'll be super. I started growing. I introduced a bunch of different stuff, hoping that it would take off, because a lot of the things in cold water are just kind of unknown, like how well it will do. And I introduced mussels that had lots of different marine life on them. And come to find out, there's a few different types of tunicates and sea squirts that are out here. Some of them are heavily invasive. And completely way down stuff, which I freaked out at first because I couldn't ID them. And I thought that my starfish had eaten them all. And I'm like, oh, no big deal. But then we'll come down here
This is
and
about to be good.
they are all growing inside of my sump. So there is, I don't know if that is working,
Oh my gosh.
but they're
Pull out a
just,
brick and show it on the brick.
yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like they just started. I just have all these different, just tons and tons of, there's just all sorts of sea squirts now. And luckily, they're not the invasive ones. So they are the northern sea squirt, which is a native one. And it's the only one that took. So I was very happy. But I put in sea vases and a couple other ones. And I was like, well, we'll see what happens. So that's part of the fun part of it, because a lot of the things
Awesome.
in the cold water tanks are kind of, it's like that new frontier of like, well, how many people have kept these species together and how long you can do as much research as you want in theory, but a lot of it's going to come from either hands-on experience or getting information from public aquariums who had kept them, which is where we got a lot of it to begin with. And then it came down to like weird stuff like how will a Japanese bat star interact with a West Coast anemone? Probably never.
Tell them what happened.
Yeah. So
This is
funny
speaking
enough,
from experience then.
yeah, this is one of those fun experiences we learned along the way. We were keeping West Coast bat stars that are, from California to Alaska, all over. There were some really cool ones. They're usually solid colors. They're bright orange, reds, occasionally blues, which is neat. And they do fine. Sometimes you can find them intertidally. Sometimes they're a little bit deeper, and they don't really mess with them. They're opportunistic to an extent, but they never bothered any of the anemones that we had kept. Even keeping them with some of the smaller species like Coronactus and strawberry anemones, which are very similar to like they call them club-tipped anemones, or what's the one that you had that's from the Caribbean? It's a pseudocoronactus.
Pseudocoronactus, ball anemone.
Yeah. But they never mess with them. We never thought anything of it. We import a shipment from Japan and they're like, oh yeah, we have Japanese bat stars, which were really cool because they were bright blue with orange flecks all over
green,
or like army green with orange flecks on them, and which was super cool. And we're like, oh, we got those, and we got if anybody's been on Instagram or TikTok recently and seen the very, very tiny lumpfish,
Microtremus
awe, Lithotremus, Microtremus. I can't remember. They changed the scientific name.
Microtremus, I think.
And those are the ones that are the tiniest ones. They're like the size of like a nickel. And we brought in like 30 of them. And they were super cool. But we had all those at the same time. And we were interhousing certain species. So we're like, okay, well, bat stars are fine. Bat stars with those, all right, they're a bat star. No, they totally decimated whole fields of Coronactus. Little tiny guys, like they're just chewing on them, eating all these. So it's weird stuff like that that, I mean, nobody's ever kept, but in like the tropical trade, like it's super common to see you'll have an anemone from the Indo-Pacific with an anemone from Florida. Like nobody even, but there's so much history of it, of what fish will do well with this, what fish will do well there. There's, aggressive and reef safe labels for different species, but when you're exploring this, it's kind of, who knows? Yeah. So
yeah, we had to make up
we
our
get to
own.
learn.
Nice. Well, I've been told that we are, I think, at the end of our time
Oh,
window
yeah.
to talk about cold water. Do
All
we have
right.
time to ask anybody if they have any more questions?
Give us some
Or I
questions.
guess better yet, quick self plug. Tell me, you mentioned a Facebook group. I'm a part of it, but I don't remember the name of it. Can you go ahead and tell me the name of that Facebook group again, in case anybody wants to learn more and are curious?
Yeah, it's Cold Water Marine Aquarium Owners on Facebook. We've had it for 15 years now, and it started with with me getting tired of only talking with Josh on Facebook about
Yes.
cold water tanks. I'm like, I need more people to talk to.
Here, I got one plug to make. Put me on the big screen. There it
Oh,
is
yeah.
right here. This is a book that King Wingirter wrote, and I think you can get it on Amazon, and it has everything you'd ever need.
Very cool.
Oh yeah, that's a good
The
one.
Cold Water Marine Aquarium, Biology and Ecology and Husbandry. That is
Hold
the
on.
book.
We
And
wrote
I'm
the
taking
forward
notes.
in that.
And
for
Stu and
the
I
post
wrote
word.
in that too.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Well, thank you
Thank you
guys
for
so
having
much.
us on, Hillary.
This has been absolutely fascinating, and maybe we'll do another set of videos about cold water tanks in the future.
All right.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, I think we are about to perhaps start some fun trivia. Ken, do you have any winners that we need to announce, or any special promos for the next little while? I think your sound might be off, Ken.
Thank you very much. How about that?
There we go.
Yeah, sorry about that. So what I would like to do now is talk about some of the stuff that's new at SaltwaterAquarium.com. Then we're going to talk about a few sales, do the trivia, and then we'll announce all the TANKSGiving winners. We have some awesome prizes we're giving out tonight. The first thing I want to talk about is Vitalis, a new food brand that we've brought in that other competitors aren't selling currently. One of our best-selling pellets and flake foods are now from this brand, Vitalis Aquatic Nutrition in the UK. Only rave reviews from this. This stuff was exclusively for commercial
like public
use.
aquarium food.
Public aquariums, yes. And we were able to bring it to the hobbyists. So check that out, Vitalis, when you get a chance. It's on sale. Today, these were announced, or not announced, actually available for purchase. This is the Quantum 160 EQ. So some new skimmers from Nios. There's 3 different types of skimmers and 3 upgrade kits. Yes, there's fancy lights, but it does more than just fancy lights, right? So there's some intelligence built into it where, for example, if the pump intake is blocked by a snail, instead of destroying your pump, it can turn it down, turn it off. So something cool there. I'd like to cover frozen fish food. So we've been bringing in some new brands of frozen fish food. We're trying to bring in all of the major brands. That way, when you shop in one place, you can mix and match or buy what you want. So Larry from LRS, who will be on next Friday, there you go, little preview. He finally allowed us to carry his fish food after me asking him for about 10 years. So Reef Frenzy from LRS, one of the best frozen fish foods in the industry. I want to let you guys know that's available at SaltwaterAquarium.com. And some of the stuff I'm talking about now is only available at SaltwaterAquarium.com, and maybe another vendor or two, but not at everyone's online store. We're trying to be a little bit different. I don't want to just be another vendor, another place that has all the same stuff, right? So I'm always on the lookout for something new, something different, something that I can bring to you guys. This is something new that popped up on the radar. I did not see it coming, so we were like second or third to carry it. This is a frozen fish food feeder automatically. Have you guys seen that? So super cool frozen fish food feeder. Mark, I think he's back ready for prime time. Maybe not. Jimmy's here. They're getting ready. Look, Mark's got one. Mark, you're muted. I think you did that. Let me check. Yeah, you muted yourself. Jimmy, you muted yourself. Frozen fish food feeder. Yes, ice cap UVs are on the way. We sold all of the ones they brought into the country. We're trying to get more. Just replying to some of these comments. Mark, you're still muted.
I should be unmuted now.
There you go. On sale right now, $499. Frozen fish food feeder. I have not personally used it, except for outside of trade shows, but early reviews are good. I just sent one to Mark to do a video. Mark, have you played with it at all?
New inbox at saltwateraquarium.com. How's that for any other box? No, I was following my own rules in that. Here's a tip for you all. Before you go away from your tank, like even if it's a day, don't set up something new. Don't do a water change. Don't change anything on your tank. Now I'm home for a period of time, so this bad boy is going to get set up. Don't change things. Don't add new gear to your tank right before you leave. So coming soon to a review on saltwateraquarium.com.
Oh, so on sale right now. Check it out. I'm going to show you guys a few more things before we move on. I'm trying to go a little faster. A new brand. We were a little bit late to the game on this brand, but they've done amazing jobs making sure that right now all the orders are going out fast. This is Fiji Cube, a full line of aquariums, filter rollers. Check out Fiji Cube if you've never heard of them. I only hear good things from what I've seen. Super quality products. I'll go through the catalog just briefly. They have some things like fish tanks, these all-in-one skimmer boxes you can add to existing systems. That's something that was different. They don't just do all the same stuff that all the other brands do. Filter socks, they do some of it. Also, another brand of fish tanks. We're trying to bring in lots of aquarium brands now. I don't know if you can see on the screen. Red Sea has their G3. Innovative Marine has a full series of tanks. Waterbox, Fiji Cube. We now have Jewel Aquariums. So Jewel's a European brand. We're going to bring them on next Friday. Stay tuned. Focused on freshwater, but in Europe, saltwater. So non-sumps, all-in-one, high-quality European brand. You'll learn more next week, but I wanted to let everyone know that we now carry the full line of Jewel Aquariums. If you're in the market, they make internal filters, some pumps, a couple other things from Jewel. You'll see it next week. And the last thing I'd like to talk about, something we've dumped a ton of time and effort into. The guys in Chicago have done just an absolutely amazing job on our coral farm over the last 3 years. Something like that's a lot longer than I thought it would take to get up and running, but they have done an amazing job. Check out under our live section, our coral farm and our what you see is what you get corals. They've loaded for this month almost 600 corals to our what you see is what you get section. A lot of those are combo box, easy to keep corals. I mean, look at some of this stuff. $80 for that in your tank. We're trying to bring, I don't know, a lower price and an affordable price for corals. But if you have a chance, check out our what you see is what you get section. I know saltwateraquarium.com is not known for live animals, live corals, but we are getting into that more and more. I mean, look, I've seen this stuff in person. I was recently up there for a wedding. The guys up there are doing an amazing job. And just give us a chance. Check those out. Maybe we can help not only supply the tank, the salt, sand, rock, but also the live animals for your tank. And with that, Mark, you want to talk about TANKSGiving or what's on sale?
Yeah. And real quick, since we mentioned it earlier in the stream, if you've been around saltwater aquariums long enough, you've had one of these. This is how we used to do it. If you've had one of these in your tank, hit the like button, drop us a comment, let us know, because you're going to remember this. And then you're also going to remember this. This was live rock, quote unquote, live rock back in the day when I started in 1989. This is from my first saltwater tank, the Blue Ridge coral, and of course, the red barnacle. And I was talking about how clean. The idea was to keep it looking like this. Like nowadays would be like, what the heck ever? Like get some biofilm on it. This little dude has been through the bleach cycle, I don't know how many times. Now we're like, oh yeah, I know what that coral. I grow that in my tank. Well, we killed that. We bought it dead and we wanted to keep it dead. So there you go. There's some blasts from the past um, on the coral stuff. But one thing that we do here at saltwateraquarium.com, Thanksgiving is all month long. So we have giveaways. We'll get to that. Stay tuned. You may be a winner. You can win tonight as well. We also have discounts all month long on various stuff. So here's what's on sale right now. 15% off Kessel. Anything Kessel. Like if you need a new controller, you need a cable, you need a whole new light, that's fine. It's 15% off. Literally any absolute everything, mounts, you name it. Not like just this light. Like no. If it says Kessel on it, it's on sale here at saltwateraquarium.com. So Refugium lights, A360Xs if you want A500, like all of this stuff. Again, even if you need just a simple cable, that's 15% off Kessel. 15% off Bashi. If you're looking for filtration for your tank, media reactors, sumps, skimmers, biopellet reactors. If you've been around the hobby long enough, you know biopellets. I run biopellets on this tank when I needed it. I'm not afraid of them. We did a show on that. Shameless plug. We did a show here at saltwateraquarium.com. Anything Bashi. If you're building out your system, auto top offs, containers, all that stuff. Anything Bashi is 15% off for them. 10% off MagFloat. You get your tank going, you're going to grow algae on the glass. It just happens. It's just that fuzz algae. You got to scrape it off. Even if it's a coralline algae, do that. You can scrape it off with your hand if you're crazy. Oh, I used to do it back in the day because that's all we had, or the wiper. No. Get yourself a MagFloat algae scraper. It's 10% off. They have small ones. They have big ones. They have ones for acrylic tanks. They have one for glass tanks. Everything MagFloat is 15% off. One of my favorites, we talked about this earlier in the stream, ORA, 20% off. Fish, coral, clams, you name it, 20% off ORA. This is aquacultured fish, aquacultured corals. Some of my favorite corals come from ORA. They have them. Red Planet, Oregon Tort. There's some other ones, Setosas, clownfish if you're looking for those. Some damselfish. They have dotty backs. I like the orchid dotty backs. I know a lot of people hate on dotty backs. Jimmy, you need a dotty back for your tank, by the way. So those are on sale. Anything ORA is 20% off. As Ken said, we're doing more and more with live here at saltwateraquarium.com. Check out the ORA selection. They got lots of stuff that's really, really cool, and it's all 20% off. 15% off Fritz Salt and Supplies. So they have coral dips, they have salts. All of it is 15% off. We're actually going to ship you salt at 15% off. How's that for craziness? 20% off cleanup crews. Okay. Something else that people don't know that we do here at saltwateraquarium.com besides doing live, yes, fish and corals, we also do cleanup crews. So snails, crabs, starfish. Jimmy and I were just down in the Florida Keys collecting that stuff. Preview of coming attractions. We'll do a show on that. All our cleanup crews, 20% off. You need emerald crabs to do with bubble algae. You just want some hermit crabs, starfish, 20% off your cleanup crew. You can stock up now and get that done. 20% off eShop's Mariner tanks. If you're looking for a tank, eShop said, hey, we want to do our tanks differently. We're going to overbuild them. We're going to build our stand differently. We have interviewed those guys several times at Reefapalooza trade shows to talk about their tanks they've come out with. They have smaller systems. They have bigger systems. They have peninsula tanks. These are overbuilt tanks. So here's a hint. If you get one, you got to move it into your house. Call an extra buddy. Grab some extra beer. They're heavy because they're built strong. All that stuff is 20% off. 25% off Current USA. If you have a freshwater tank, there's plenty of Current stuff that goes for freshwater and for the saltwater side as well. Lights, power heads. Jimmy had some of that on his saltwater tank. on his reef tank when he got it started, that's an option there. Now, one of the most favorite things, feedback we get about is non-map brands. What is map real quickly? Some brands say, hey, there's a minimum advertised price. You can't sell our gear for less than this price. Well, map brands, they during Thanksgiving is 20% off. Any non-map control brand is 20% off here at saltwateraquarium.com. There's tons of stuff in that category. Check it out. An extra discount there, 20% off non-map brands. Okay. With that, oh, can we still have live deals going on, or we use all those up?
No, we definitely got them going on. I think there's only a few left, a couple.
There we go.
There we go. There we go. There we
There
go.
we go.
So there's only a few left of a couple, like the seaweed from Two Little Fishies is almost gone. Pump Clean from CJ is almost gone. I'll go over that one more time for everybody. Check it out. So, Refuel glasses. Someone's got feedback. Greg. Refuel glasses, anything from our coral farm, if you buy it during the live stream, which is about to end here after we announce the winners and trivia, these coral glasses will be free. Just add any coral from our coral farm to your cart, and these will be added to your cart for free. Seachay, buy any Seachay product during the live stream, you get free pump clean automatically added to your cart. And any item in our food category, that's live food, frozen food, fish food, flake food, pellet food, all the food, free. There you go.
Awesome. Okay. Let's talk about we have some winners to announce. If you're just tuning in or you've just found out about Thanksgiving, here's how one way that you can become a winner. There's multiple ways, but every day in the month of November, we give away an aquarium or aquarium gear. How do you enter to win? First of all, you have to enter for each piece of gear. Don't think that you enter once and then you're entered for every giveaway every day. We want you to go, hey, we like that one. Maybe not this one today, so I'll skip it, but I want this one. So how do you do that? Check out our social pages on Instagram, on Facebook. Every morning, we're going to post what the giveaway of the day is. Like and drop a comment on that, and then go to saltwateraquarium.com/TANKSGiving. Yes, we did that on purpose. TANKSGiving, and you can go down and you can see what the giveaway of that day is. All you do is click on it. It's then going to take you to a page, put your name and email address in there, and then you're entered to win. Because here's the other catch for this. If you're a winner, we're going to contact you via your email address. If for some reason someone reached out to you on social media and says, hey, contact me, get in touch with me, what's your name and email address? That's not us. You can ignore them. We will contact you if you're a winner, but you have to enter and say, hey, today is this giveaway. I want that. Enter your name and email address, and then you're entered for that day. We've done, what's today? The 14th. So we've done over 14 giveaways now because we started earlier than November 1, because that's how we roll here at saltwateraquarium.com. So all kinds of giveaway. There's a giveaway live right now for the day as well. So we've got all kinds of giveaways to give away here at saltwateraquarium.com. That's how Thanksgiving works. In addition to the sales, in addition to the live stream only giveaways and guest speakers that we've done as well. So Ken, you want to announce some winners here? We want to go roll through that for our Thanksgiving. Anything else we want to do? Yes. Now, I know some of you have been waiting all night long because this is also how we roll. Trivia is coming up. Do you want to do that first, Ken, or do you want to do yes, let's do some trivia first.
Trivia said first. Yep.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to turn it over to one, Hillary, fellow on-air personality here at SaltwaterAquarium. She's going to do aquarium trivia. And of course, our customer service rep, Greg Trax. If you call, you're probably talking to Greg. He has these like impossible movie trivia questions. Like,
it's not impossible.
It's not impossible for you, Trax. And he also has like, now he's expanding it out. So with that, enough of me yapping. Let's go to some instant trivia for instant winning. Take it away, Hillary and Trax.
Hey, Hillary, I'm going to explain how we run it because so Hillary's helped. If you've been watching her videos all year, well, past couple of years, Hillary's been with us. But this year, it's the first year she's going to jump in and do trivia. Thanksgiving, it's all about holiday trivia and goofiness, but we're rolling in some of her expertise and doing some reef trivia. So there's 5 from Hillary, 5 from me. Mine this year are all going to be Christmas song, Christmas carol themed instead of movie themed. The way trivia works, I'm going to read the question and read the question and read the question. And as you're answering, I'm going to keep reading the question in case somebody heard the question wrong. Ken is on his screen looking at all the comments, and that's how you're going to answer. You're going to comment in with your answer, and they fly by. If you've been watching the chat all night long, I'm sitting here waiting to come on tonight, watching the chat, they're going to fly through, especially with trivia question answers. It is not about the first person that answers right. If Ken sees that one, awesome. It is about the first one that Ken sees. He's going to say he's got a winner. We're going to pause. He's going to tell me the answer. I'm going to say if it's right or wrong. I will then write down your name on the question, either mine or Hillary's. You need to contact me if I say that you win. Do not just write and say, oh, I won a prize, because you didn't. I'm going to have it all logged here, and you got to claim your prize, got to email in. I'll give all those instructions in through after the first winner and with each winner. We're going to make a really simple what, bud?
Customers want to know what they win.
I was just about to say, we're keeping it simple this year. It's always like we always have a big table behind us of all this stuff. Folks, we're giving away cash money. Store credit here at SaltwaterAquarium.com. It's either going to be a $50 or $100 gift card for every single question that's answered right. So I've got 5 questions. Hillary's got 5 questions. We're giving away up to $1,000. It's going to be store credit in your account. So I'll explain that too with the first winner, but it's going to be a $50 or $100. I'm writing that down too. Don't say, I want $100. No, you don't. Bob Smith, you got a $50 one. I wrote it down. We're giving you free money. Don't you lie to me. All right, enough of that. Folks been waiting. Hillary sent me her questions earlier, and Mark is sitting here joking how my questions are impossible. There's a reason this woman's a marine biologist. Good luck, reefing community. Hillary, take it away.
All right. Sound plays many important roles in the lives of aquatic species. A fish's lateral line allows them to detect waves of sound in their environment. Corals use sound to determine where they settle. What allows larval corals to hear and detect sound? So the question that you're answering is, what allows larval corals to detect sound?
All right, folks, get those answers in. Start chatting in. Ken's going to be going. He's going to call it out when he's going to tell me he's got a winner, give you the name. This is a $100 Saltwater Aquarium store credit. What the heck is the answer to Hillary's question?
Nobody knows. Oh.
So again, corals use sound in determining where to. We have a winner. Ken, what is the answer?
Pop up on the screen. There we go.
Stephen Dew. Stephen, I see your name. Cilia. Yes. They use cilia to whatever. Yeah, sure. Awesome. Good job. So it's $100 SaltwaterAquarium.com store credit. Stephen, you need to email me at sales@saltwateraquarium.com. I need your first and last name. I need the email for your account. If you don't have an account yet, with Stephen, I recognize your name, you do. So if you're a winner and you don't have an account, make an account so I can add that credit. But I also want to keep track that it's the right Stephen doing all. What question did you answer, and what was the answer to your question? So Stephen, congratulations. Do we just keep rolling? Ken, you want to go right through them all?
Yeah, man. Just go next.
All right. Stupid holiday trivia time. All righty. This question, I will give the caveat, has 5 possible answers. I would like 2 of them. 5 answers. I would like 2. And because I want 2 answers, another $100 SaltwaterAquarium.com store credit. In Run DMC's Christmas in Hollis, what's Mom cooking for dinner? In Run DMC's Christmas in Hollis, what is Mom cooking for dinner? There's 5 things in the list. Give me 2. Hillary and ideas?
Absolutely not.
It's a great song.
I'm not in Christmas song music mode yet.
I've got my desk decorated. The house is decorated. It's Thanksgiving. I've got to be decorated, ready to roll.
The 28th.
Up, I'll take it. Lewis Birch said chicken and green. Pretty close. Mom's cooking chicken and collard greens, rice and stuff and macaroni and cheese, and Santa's putting gifts under Christmas trees. Fantastic. Lewis Birch, $100 credit. Lewis, please email me, Greg, sales@saltwateraquarium.com. Name, the email address for your account that you want $100 store credit. Name, question you got. Awesome. We're going to hop back over to Hillary for question 2 from her. This one's going to be a $50 store credit question.
Told you guys earlier that I have kept jellyfish, so it's only fair to include a jellyfish trivia question. What type of jellyfish have been to the moon? What type of jellyfish have been to the moon?
I thought this one's pretty easy. I was pretty sure because I was like, it can't be that obvious. Hint, it is.
Shh. Give my hint to this one. The harder ones.
You could be answering on YouTube or on the Facebook group. They're all coming through on the comments. Ken's got both of the screens up looking at his stuff on both sides. Again, we're after store credit. What kind of jellyfish have been to the moon for $50? There. Trucker Tammy. God damn, it's good to see you, girl. Trucker Tammy, yes.
I didn't mean to scream with you, Tammy. Congratulations.
If you folks don't know Trucker Tammy, you should go check her out at a trade show. New York is the one we normally see you at with really cool frag stands and things and all. I got one of her, is it like a Groot going like this? And I got a little frag coming out of his head. Good stuff. Trucker Tammy, email me, sales@saltwateraquarium.com. What's your question? What's your answer? And you got $50. Awesome. All right. Next holiday trivia. Oh, this one's easy. I've actually done this one before. So $50. Easy one. You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch is sung by Thurl Ravenscroft, one of the greatest names of all time. Mr. Ravenscroft is also a famous food mascot. Who does he voice? The guy that sang You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch also is a famous food mascot voice. If you think about the song and think about, my gosh, 60 years of this probably being around, it's the same dude. This is one of the easy ones.
Maybe.
Scott, yeah, there we go. Scott Bennett, Tony the Tiger.
Touché.
Yep. So Scott, sales@saltwateraquarium.com. Question, answer, and that you won $50 store credit. Again, all winners, make sure if you don't have an account, you make one with the email you email me from, because I'm just going to throw the credit right in your account. It's instantly there for use. When you go to check, if you've never used store credit with this before, when you go to checkout, as long as you're signed in and you have credit in your account, it's going to be one of your first payment options. You just click it to use it or keep it unclicked and not use it and save it. It does not expire. Awesome. Great job, Scott. Hillary, back to you.
All right. Zoonotic diseases are ones that can be transferred between humans and animals. Please name the full scientific name of the bacteria that can be transferred to us from our tanks. Looking for the full scientific name of the bacteria that we can get from our tanks if the tanks are infected.
So because she wants the full scientific name, I am making this one of the $100 ones.
And a hint on this, if you've seen, I think it was the last full team live stream thing that we did. We definitely talked about it during that. Yes.
Somebody Googled that. They're not just spelling that right out the back of their ass. All right, Jonah Gwen. I'm not even going to try to say it. Hillary, what's the answer?
Mycobacterium marinum.
Lovely. Jonah?
Shortened up as Myco.
Sure. Yeah, maybe we would have taken Micah, but she said she wanted the full thing, which is why you just got
Nope,
$100,
I wanted the
Jonah.
full name.
Again, email me, sales@saltwaterAquarium, question, answer, and then you got $100. All right. This one is for all my Gen X children of the 80s. New Kids on the Block. They wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas in their hit song of the 80s. What kind of Christmas did NKYOTB want to wish you? What kind of Christmas? It's the title of the song. Bunch of dancing, rapping white kids being so tough. Ugh. Yeah, no. Oh, see, this one played on the radio earlier here in the warehouse, and it's like, oh my gosh, what a great question. Yes, Kyle, have a funky, funky Christmas. Oh, they're so hard. Kyle, please make sure that you email me, sales@saltwateraquarium.com, that you got $50 for being so funky, funky fresh. Hillary, this one's easy. This is going to be a $50 one to you.
This one's okay. See, I thought this one was hard, but I'm glad you thought it was easy. All right. Juvenile mola mola, aka ocean sunfish, are the size of a pencil eraser and look like miniature sunshines. But the adults can grow up to 14 feet from fin to fin. Now, believe it or not, molas are actually related to a type of fish that we keep in our aquarium. So I'm looking for that type of fish that we keep in our aquarium that are related to the mola mola. Mola mola are my bucket list fish. I would love to be able to see one in the ocean.
Now, do you just want to see one in the ocean, or do you want to have one in your tank?
Both.
Okay.
I want to see them out in the wild, but if I could have a tank that big, that'd be excellent too.
Nice. Yes. We're going to let the spelling slide there, Travis Lund. Sure thing. We got a porcupine.
I'm impressed with you guys today. Yup.
Alrighty, so Travis, $50. Store credit, email sales@saltwateraquarium.com. Again, folks, make sure you have an account set up with us so I can add that credit when you notify me and I can let you know back. Alrighty, my second to last holiday song trivia one, another $50. It's The Bubbles, Michael Bublé. He sang a great version of Santa Baby. Great song. But Mr. Bublé is a dude. So he wasn't saying Santa Baby. He was saying Santa what? What did he change baby to? Smooth jazz, easy crooner sound. I'd love to see him live. Very different than my last one. I just went to see Metallica and 9 Inch Nails. But Bublé's
I got to see him live. I got to see him live 2 years ago. Like, that was my Christmas present. Is
very nice.
Concert
very
tickets
nice.
for him.
All right, folks. Santa Baby by Michael Bublé is not Santa Baby. What did he change the song title to? And he changed a lot of the lyrics as well. Oh, this one's taking a while. I'm surprised. There we go. Ike. All right, so Ike, you didn't give us the last name, but yes, it is Buddy. Santa Buddy. 64 convertible to light blue, or steel blue, actually. Ike, since we don't know your last name, question, answer, your account, $50 to you. All righty, Hillary, this is your last reefing trivia question. It's going to be a $100 one.
Ooh.
Away you go.
Okay. Most coral skeletons are white. What coral has a blue skeleton? I feel like these corals.
I've seen corals bleach out, they get the white skeleton. So this one has a blue skeleton.
They
Interesting.
really pretty, almost like a periwinkle, like a dark periwinkle color. They're very pretty. It's not, I would say, a commonly kept coral anymore.
Now, is the blue skeleton, is it only visible if the polyps die off? Kind of like other corals where you're not going to see the white unless the polyps all die? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Once it starts growing, yes.
Nice. All right, Max Hayes. Max. Heliopora corilla. Sure. Did I say that right, Hillary?
Close enough.
Max, final reefing question. Great job. $100 store credit. Email into sales@saltwateraquarium.com with the question and answer. Final holiday trivia one. And I'm making this our final $100 one. So if you were keeping track, 550s, 500s. So our final $100 store credit. My absolute favorite Christmas song is by John Denver and the Muppets. Off of John Denver's album, A Christmas Together. It is Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. The whole album's got Muppets, but Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas is just the sweetest, most touching duet between John Denver and which Muppet? Who sang Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas with John Denver? Which Muppet? It's a great song. If you haven't heard it, look it up. It's so sweet. Just it gets you in all the feels, all the holiday feels and the cockles of your heart, way deep down in the liver, maybe even in the colon. We don't know. There's a new Muppet show coming out. All you kids today with your Diet Cokes and your MTVs and your tight pants, it's going to have Sabrina Carpenter. They're going back to the vaudeville thing, and she's going to be their first big guest and doing the whole thing. John Denver did a lot with the Muppets. Hell yeah, Kayla Hextall, Rolf the dog. The man sounds like Tom Waits, another one of my favorite singers. Such good stuff. All winners, please, if your name was called, and I said your name enough, and we did this long enough, make sure you email sales@saltwateraquarium.com. Question, answer from the account you got. Kayla, write your name down before it goes away. Awesome. Trivia done. Trivia next week. Make sure you're tuning in.
Wow. Yeah. Not only was trivia from tracks hard, now you mix in Hillary's trivia, which was hard as well. So it's twice as hard, but this year we're giving away cash, store credit here at saltwateraquarium.com. I'm deeply disturbed by some of those questions tracks, but Hillary's questions were absolutely brilliant. Stumped some of me as well. I don't know where Trax comes up with this stuff, but I know that Hillary, I'm convinced that Trax looks up answers. I think Hillary, I know for a fact, she actually knows the answers. So with that, let's go on to the reason that everyone is actually here, which is the winner of the TANKSGiving giveaways. Remember, every day in the month of November, we are giving away a fish or not a fish, an aquarium or aquarium gear. Every day we give one away. You can watch our socials every morning, like and comment. Go to saltwateraquarium.com/TANKSGiving. Put your name and email address in. Click on the giveaway you want to enter. Put your name and email address in, and we will let you know when you win. If someone on social media says, "Hey, what's your name and email address so I can tell you that you're a winner?" Ignore them. It's a scam. Only us here at saltwateraquarium.com will contact you, but you got to enter in the one you want. Okay.
Yeah, I had a couple scam emails already this year, and let folks know they don't get announced until during the live stream. I've got the list up. I got all the emails ready to go. So some of you will be getting an email because you won from me. Nobody else.
Yeah. Trax, the giver of giveaways here at saltwateraquarium.com. All right. November 13th. Well, let me say this first. November 14th, we're giving something away. I don't know what it is, but you can still enter to win it. Once the stream, you should probably go now because the stroke of midnight, the giveaway for today goes away. So we're going to start with yesterday because the giveaway for today, as of the filming of this live stream, is still on. November 13th, Fluval 13.5 saltwater Evo tank. Here's a pretty dang good starter tank. Has everything you need short of sand and rock and livestock. But luckily, we have that here at SaltwaterAquarium.com. We gotcha. Here's a nice little desktop kit. Comes with a lid, comes with a light, pump in the back. Good stuff. That is the giveaway of the day for yesterday, November 13th. That winner is Austin Carroll. Remember, Austin, we will email you. Check your emails, check your spam, because sometimes we don't hear from people, but they won anyway. So, Austin, you're the winner of the Fluval 13.5 gallon saltwater kit. All right, November 12th. That is the Magic Pixel LED package. Here's a light company that's been around forever. We just started carrying them recently here at saltwateraquarium.com. I have the big brother to the Pixel, the X4, over the tank behind me. I have some ideas for the Pixels if I can just get home office on board. It involves the drop off part of my tank. Maybe you'll see that in an upcoming episode in 2026 here at saltwateraquarium.com. But the winner of the Magic Pixel LED package is Mark Hutchinson. With a name like Mark, he has to be a good guy. Mark Hutchinson, you're the winner of the Magic Pixel LED package. All right, November 11th. Oh, here we go. We're going to give away a 33-gallon Jewel Rio, 125 liters, by the way, LED aquarium. So, a new brand we've picked up here at saltwateraquarium.com, big in Europe, but we have them now here in the United States. We are giving away the 33-gallon tank. Comes with a stand in the tank, so you don't have to decide if what you're going to put it on will actually hold it, because the stand is included with it. The winner of this is Steph Hitchings. Steph, you're the winner. Remember, we email you. Check your inbox, check your spam, because sometimes our emails to you land there. November 10th, the Seashay Syncra SDC Wi-Fi return pump. Ooh, and pump clean, because even the Seashays, which are super reliable, cleaning them is a good idea to keep them up and running at their strongest. I use the SDC Wi-Fi on my frag tank downstairs. Only reason I don't use it on the tank behind me is because the pump isn't strong enough to get the water from downstairs upstairs, but I do use it on my frag tank down in the basement. Most of your tank SDC, the Seashay SDCs will work great because you're not pumping water up 2 stories. So the winner for that is Kevin Leeper. You're the winner on the SDC pump. Yeah, there you go. That's exactly what I use. Good call, Ken. That's what I use on my frag tank. And it's adjustable. So if you're looking at that going 2,500 gallons an hour, that's way too much for me. Don't worry. You just use the Seashay Control All app. You can turn it down so you don't need that much flow. Okay. Dang. $250 LRS frozen food package. Yes, we have pelleted food, flake food here at saltwateraquarium.com. We have nori as well. We also have frozen food. LRS is a brand that I've been using for, God, I don't remember how long. 10 years? When Larry used to come to trade shows, been using it. I feed it to my fish, feed it to my clients' fish. A $250 LRS food package. Danny Allen, you're the winner on that one. Congrats. It's so clean. It's actually human grade seafood. You could eat it, but I don't recommend it. Larry doesn't recommend it either. Sorry, there's no bonus prize if you eat the food and let us know how it is, other than we think that would not be a good idea, but maybe kind of cool. Okay, November 8th, the 15-gallon new G2 Fluval Flex Aquarium. That was the giveaway on November 8th. Remember, these giveaways are going to go along all month long. So if you haven't won yet, that doesn't mean you can't win. Just watch our socials. We'll post it every day what the giveaway is. Go to saltwateraquarium.com/TANKSGiving. Enter your name and email address for what you want to enter to win. And then you'll be in the drawing. Remember, we announced the winners here on the live stream. Next Friday, November 21st, we'll be doing another week of giveaways. And then Black Friday, November 28th, we will be back as well doing more giveaways. The Fluval Flex 2.0 15-gallon aquarium kit. If you're a freshwater person, this is great. If you're even a saltwater person, you could give it a whirl too. Fun little nano tank with small little critters in there, or just make it like a Gorgonian tank. That would work well. The winner of that, Ryan Ritz, you are the winner of the 15-gallon Blue Ball G2 Flex Aquarium. What the heck? Look at this giveaway. November 7th, a $500 500 bills credit for a water box purchase. Okay, water box is a brand that we've carried for a while here at saltwateraquarium.com. They have all different size tanks, big tanks, small tanks, tanks that's just a tank, tank with a stand, tank with a gray stand, tank with a white stand, tank with a black stand. You name it, they have it. So the winner of this gets a $500 credit towards a water box purchase. I have a lady reefer who won this one. Casey Schubert, you're the winner on that one for the $500 water box purchase. Casey, check your inbox because you're the winner on that one. All right, $250 credit for cleanup crews. Yes, we do dry goods. Yes, we do fish food, frozen included here at SaltwaterAquarium, and we do live. This is a new section we've added the past couple of years. We keep building this out. We do fish, we do coral, and we do cleanup crews. These are some fun little critters that you put in your tank. Occasionally, you got to refresh them, but we've got the mix from snails, crabs, urchins, starfish, you name it. We got it. All different types here at saltwateraquarium.com, and they're on sale. So your credit is going to go even further. They're on sale right now during TANKSGiving, and even upside down jellyfish. Look at that. I saw some of those when I was out with our cleanup clue correctors. Pretty dang cool. All right, $250 credit from November 6th. James Small. That's no small win there. $250 credit for cleanup crews. Check your email, James. You're the winner there. Okay, November 5th. Fiji Cube 20-gallon Peninsula all-in-one nano tank, a new brand that we carry. Have just got in, started carrying here at saltwateraquarium.com. These are on sale this week here at saltwateraquarium.com. They're on sale for 20% off on the Fiji Cube. We give away a 20-gallon Nano Peninsula rimless. Ooh, that's a nice looking tank. We're giving that one away to Rob Beetleson. You're the winner on that one, Rob. Check your email. You're the winner on the 20-gallon Fiji Cube. All right, more tanks to give away. November 4th, Hello Reef Clownfish and Anemone Kit tank. This is an all-in-one tank. It includes the clownfish and the other livestock in the tank. But here's the thing, don't worry, it's not like a puppy where it's going to pop out of the box. It's not alive in the box. You set it all up, there's video instructions, and then when your tank is ready, and they talk you through when that is, you have a credit. You can get the clownfish and the anemone. So everything you need in the box, though, get you up and rolling. The winner from that is Danny Allen. Danny, congrats on winning the Anemone Hello Reef Clownfish Kit. What the heck? Look at this. November 3rd, a 1-year supply of Tropic Marin. So I'm like sitting here going, what? Why don't I get to enter this? Maybe I'll stop working in saltwater for now, just so I can enter some of these giveaways. These are pretty freaking cool. A whole year supply of this stuff? The boss has lost his mind. Don't let the accountant see it. 1-year supply of Tropic Marin. Okay, I'm going to butcher your name on this one, Ferris. I apologize. Ferris, I got to practice. So I have at least have a shot at this, which I don't have any shot at Trax's trivia. Ferris with Yanto. Okay, again, I apologize. I butchered your name, Ferris. Fahris. Give me the background on your name because I just got to know. But you're the winner. 1-year supply of Tropic Marin. Okay, November 2nd, a $500 credit from the saltwateraquarium.com Coral Farm. We have WYSIWYG corals. We have non-WYSIWYG corals. As Ken said, our crew up there in Chicago has loaded up the WYSIWYG section with over 500, even 600 at this point, new corals. So again, we have WYSIWYG, we have non-WYSIWYG, like anything you want, especially sitting here and look at these rock flower anemones. I'm like, oh, we have that rock flower anemone? We've got combo rocks. It's like all kinds of good stuff. So once your tank is set up, if you already have your tank set up, You grab the corals. I'm 500 bills, $500 credit for saltwateraquarium.com coral farm purchase. Douglas McCrary, you're the winner on that one. If you know Douglas, hit him up for some frags when these things grow out. He can pick up some sweet coral variety for that. November 1st, Kessel A360X Tuna Blue LED, the big boy, well, not the biggest Kessel, but the Kessel A360X. Here we go. Great light for a deeper tank, great light for a shallower tank because it is adjustable. So this light has been out for a while. It has proven itself. We've talked about it here at saltwateraquarium.com. The winner for that one, Charles Beeson. Congratulations, you're the winner for that. All right, TANKSGiving. Yes, it sounds like Thanksgiving, which is the month of November. Well, we started TANKSGiving 2 days early this year. So let's go back to Halloween, Trax's second favorite holiday because he gets to dress up like a Ghostbuster. To quote Greg Trax, I'm a professional. So he's a professional Ghostbuster dresser-upper. The giveaway that day is the Hanna Master Marine Test Kit. This is like all the Hanna tests that they have for all the checkers. Instead of having a bunch of checkers, you've got one kit that does them all. The screen walks you through which reagents, it walks you through what step to do, and then you can actually log that in the checker, or it has an app and you can log that as well. You can have different tanks fed into this thing. If you're a service company, you grab this one cool little suitcase, which is a trendy saltwateraquarium.com blue, and you take it with you when you go see your clients. Pretty dang cool. The winner for that, ooh, Jen Weisbach. What a great name. Jen Weisbach, you're the winner for the Hanna Master Marine Test Kit. Remember, check your email. We will email you. I hate to see them going in the spam folders, but it happens every year. We email people and they don't write back. All right. Kicking off TANKSGiving this year was October 30th, because that's how we roll here at SaltwaterAquarium.com. 2 days early, we started the giveaways. The Reefer 170 G3 Black All-in-One Aquarium. This tank has a sump. It has a cabinet. It's nice and black and sleek. This is our giveaway. 43 gallons is a nice starter tank, even bigger than my starter tank when I got back into the saltwater aquarium hobby. Look at that. Over $1,000 value on this thing. Everything you need in terms of tank infiltration and stand is included in this kit. The winner on this one, another lady reefer, Alice Peach. You're the winner. I hope you check your email, Alice. Check your spam folder as well. Congrats on the big wins so far. We've got more giveaways coming here at saltwateraquarium.com, more live streams as well. We'll be back next Friday, November 4th, November 21st at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to start earlier next week because we have more guests, more giveaway, more stuff on sale, more Greg Trax incredibly impossible questions that he had to Google because even he doesn't know, more impossible Hillary trivia that she actually knew. We'll be back earlier next week. We're going to start November 21st at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'll actually be on the road coming to you. There'll be a different tank behind me, but we're going to do it anyway. All kinds of great giveaways with that. We've got a little time left in the stream here. I'm going to turn over to the boss, the man behind the scenes, talk a little bit about his small business, promoting a small business. We are a family small business here at saltwateraquarium.com. We don't have any VC overlords or anything like that. We haven't been bought out by anyone. It's all family owned by the Brown family. So I'm going to turn it over to the boss to talk to you a little bit about that. And again, next week, November 21st, remember, we're back earlier, 6 p.m. Eastern. We'll start in that stream. But Ken, take it away.
So thank you guys for supporting us. Thanks for shopping and supporting small business. I did want to allude to, yes, we're a small business and saltwateraquarium.com is my company, but I did want to show the group two things. One, my daughter's company. I'm super proud of her. She did this pretty much all on her own. She's brought in a new line of sweatshirts, but her key product are these hand painted cell phone cases. So she'll hand paint a canvas, upload it to a print on demand service, and you know, super cool. Just gonna plug the small family business here for the last few minutes. check out inside the letter NOUT.shop, inside and out.shop. I'll drop the link in the chat. This is my daughter's business, so I own SaltwaterAquarium.com. She owns that, and then my son just did this the other day, so it's a family affair here at SaltwaterAquarium.com. He's into graded cards, sports cards, and memorabilia. This is his store, so everyone in the family owns a store. So if you're interested in Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, Paige Beckers, a graded card, check out gm10grading.com. It's a trading card grading company. So there you go. My son's company, my daughter's company, and saltwateraquarium.com. I'd just like to thank everyone for supporting us and shopping. We'll do our best to get your orders out on time.
Awesome. So what do we think? We got 14-ish minutes left in the stream. We want to answer some questions. No, my God. Trax, why don't you quit that stuff,
It's a
buddy?
holiday tradition, and Ken gave up drinking, and you guys are far away.
Wait. Here we go.
Myself.
Speaking of trivia, here's an impossible trivia question. I got to lose the glasses. Who am I?
A douche in a hat.
Come on, this was K Brown's look for like 10 years. The backwards hat, dude. I can't believe even Greg Trax, he works in the same building as the guy, in the same
He hasn't done the backwards hat in quite a while, Mark.
I know, that's what I was saying. That's who he used to be. He was always the backwards hat guy for forever. Now he doesn't. He like dropped it like 2 years ago. You couldn't even get, that's like the easiest question ever, Trax, and you couldn't even get it.
My apologies. I missed your random question, Mark.
That's it.
TANKSGiving winners, not trivia winners. I literally just sent all those emails. It's got pretty simple instructions. Of course, ask any questions if you got any questions on it. Weekly announcement winners, you have 30 days from the live stream to claim your prize. And they're non-transferable. And no, I don't want this instead. Change that. Stop it. You want what you want. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. Be happy. You won. Thanks for shopping with us.
All right. Yeah, Trax. They want you to do the fireball. So go do your fireball thing. You did?
I put it in the Santa. And I drank
look, you know what? You need to do another one.
Well, my wife is driving because we were at a play and I got here late. So, sure thing here. So, you're going in. You won. Not good. Santa Claus. There's Santa's butt.
Oh, my God.
Bye. Oh, it tastes like Christmas.
It tastes like absolute.
It tastes like TANKSGiving.
Oh, man.
I only drink that crap on camera for you people because I love you. And like Ken said earlier, I was muted just here hanging out, doing emails and stuff, customer service stuff throughout the night. Thank you. Shopping with any businesses, we appreciate your business. Small family owned. Ken's extended to the family, kids making business. That means something to the people who run and own those businesses, who work in those businesses. We have jobs because you shop with us. You could be doing anything on a Friday night for 2 hours and 48 minutes and 18 seconds, and you chose to spend this time with us. You chose to take your time out of the day and shop with us, to enter the trivia, to try to answer the trivia, to enter the giveaways and things, and that really means something. It's really grown throughout the years. We took a couple of years off. I'm at all the trade shows. The number of you that are like, where is the trivia? Where are the live streams? We hear you. We brought this stuff back. We tried to do something different this year. I really hope you like the new format this year. Mark, you are coming in. We're doing our standard format, though, Black Friday towards the end of the day, because that's an all-day live stream, correct?
Wait. There's no standard format, Trax. We do it differently this year.
Standing there, dressed up, goofy, and whatever. I think that's.
Don't give it away, Trax. Yes. Oh. The 28th, Black Friday, 6 o'clock is when the live stream is going to start. We'll have more guests, more giveaways as well. We'll be super shopping that day. You might have been done shopping at the brick and mortar or your local family business. Certainly support them as well. But we'll be going live at 6 o'clock. Giveaways, announcements for people on the stream, giveaways just for the people on the stream. We'll be doing that too. And yes, Trax and I will be back in the coolest holiday costume. I should really say, we'll give it away, the suit that it is. Hillary, I think you need one. We got to find like
I kind of feel like I do now.
Yes. Okay, Trax,
They
get
are
on
the
it. You need,
weirdest cut. They are not any human size. they don't fit well, but they light up, so they're fun.
exactly. So she needs one. And Jimmy really needs one. He's like
Jimmy
the
does need one.
original. Jimmy went to sleep because he's got to get up early. He's in the city. But with that, so we'll be back next Friday, the 21st of November. You'll see a different take behind me, but we'll be back. Remember, we're starting earlier next week. It's going to be a 6-hour stream with lots of guests coming in and out, starting at 6 p.m. on November 21st. So with that, Ken, anything else you want to say before we sign off?
Just want to say thank you. Thanks for shopping. See you next Friday, 6 p.m. It's going to be awesome. We got 6 hours of more of this, lots of free stuff, lots of giveaways, manufacturers interviews, Black Friday sales going live early. Maybe I might accidentally hit a button. I don't know.
Hit the button.
Hit the button.
Just hit the button, make it go live, boss. Give the people their discount.
I might get in trouble, but beep.
That's all right. That's all right. All right, everyone. Thanks for being with us on your Friday evening. Remember, check out the website for the giveaways, for the sales, as well as all the cool stuff we've covered tonight. Thanks for our guests who came in and be a part of it. Thanks, Hillary, for being here as well. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night. Enjoy your tanks. We'll see you next Friday, the 21st at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific.